goals a game versus 1.7 goals a game right now for Post. Big advantage there. Despite a strong schedule, too, the other thing that was interesting to me with Albertus is 14 of their players are a plus, where even or plus, whereas only 8 for Post. And the other piece that's real telling, again, this plays to the obvious with the 3.5 goals, is there's 11 players on Albertus that have 4 or more points. Post only has 1 player with 4 or more points. So the question is, what do we see here in the second half of the season? Is there a different mindset? Is there a different game plan? Is there a different strategy to create more opportunities to score goals? Because while Post has done a good job typically out shooting their opponents now, they're not the grade A chances that we want. We want more. We have to be able to score an attack at least off the rush and get more in between the dots in that house area. So it'll be interesting to see if they have anything new, any new tricks up their sleeves, and what we get to look at today.
For the Eagles, they come off a 2-0 victory up at Southern New Hampshire to round out the fall portion of the campaign. As we said, 3 wins, 3 shutouts for Ben Cooney. As you mentioned, Coach, a 92% save percentage for the goaltenders overall. Ben, 939 save percentage.
Right.
So, really holding the mail, 1.90 goals against average as well. So that tells you, quite frankly, the Eagles defensively, by the way, they lead the NE10 in defensive goals against by 15 goals. It's not even close. They have 25 given up in the same amount of games, but they've only scored 19, whereas most teams in the league are in the 40s for both ends right now.
Right, and
30s and 40s.
Yes, and I mean that's the difference. Like you can't, you can only go to the well so often, right? You know that when any of those goaltenders are in the net, they're going to give you their best efforts. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to put pucks in the net, because it's not fair and or reasonable to assume that your goaltenders are going to be great every game. So
Correct.
You also have to have the ability, as they pick you up when they're pitching shutouts or they're allowing a few goals, when they're doing that, it's on you to put some in the back of the net. So that's what the team has to do. It's got to rally around their goaltending staff and their goaltending core, and they have to bury some pucks. They have to just attack, be aggressive. Like I said, get some stuff going off the rush, create 2-on-1s. If you watch the game, this will be good at home too, to watch the game today and see where the 2-on-1 situations are. That's what the game is. The game is now 2-on-1. Give it, get it back, and attack in that fashion. If you watch today, let's see which team does a better job of that, and if in fact that impacts anything.
The opponents from Albertus, Magnus, who said just up the road in New Haven, Connecticut, they are coming off a 5-1 loss to Trinity on Saturday. They are 6-5-0 on the season, 2-4-0 in the UCHC conference. That's 6th right now seventh actually in the UCHC conference overall. Tough conference. They play some ranked opponents as well. They come in, Zane Kindrachuk is their leading scorer. He's a senior out of Calgary, Alberta. He's got 7 goals on the season. We've seen this team before. We usually see them once a year or so. Dangerous offensively, Coach. As you mentioned, they're averaging well over 3 goals a game. What do the Eagles need to do to slow them down?
Well, what they need to do is the neutral zone will be the difference, right? When you get a team that attacks from moving their feet and scores off the rush like Albertus is capable of doing, the neutral zone becomes key. So that part's really important. The other part is for you to stay under control and sort of get them over the edge, because their penalty killing is not great compared to Posts. So trying to find ways where you can get yourself that power play advantage by moving your feet, by winning those battles, by forcing them to grab, forcing them to hold. If you can do that, get your penalty kill out there, give yourself the best chance to get in those outnumbered situations and score some goals.
We get ready for game action here. Teams are taking the ice. Starting lineups brought to you by Post University, who wants you to ask yourself, are you a Post person? Post makes it personal with fast, flexible, and affordable programs that are designed to help you achieve your goals no matter where you are on your academic journey. Post offers online, hybrid, and on-campus degree programs to meet your needs. For more information on all Post degree programs, to visit campus, take a tour, or to apply, go to post.edu. That's post.edu. For Albertus, Magnus 6-5 on the season, 2-4-0 in the UCHC. They're Goaltender is Caleb Shabbat, freshman out of Blainville, Quebec. His defensive combination is Alexei Bandu, 6'1", 200 pounds, out of Notre Dame de la Perrot, Quebec. And Peter Keese, sophomore out of Minnetonka, Minnesota. On left wing, Sam Lazinski, freshman out of Calgary, Alberta. At center, Balin Kerwin out of Barrie, Ontario. And on right wing, the aforementioned Zane Kindrachuk, senior 5'11", out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The head coach is Kyle Wallach, assistant coach Ryan Troy, and Jeff Roundtree. A very Canadian team there for Albertus Magnus. For your Eagles, in goal will be Ben Cunine, the aforementioned 3-6-1 on the season. A senior out of Pembroke Pine, Florida, 5'10", 165. He's got a .939 save percentage and a 190 goals against average. His defensive combination is Aiden Kennedy, sophomore out of Schaumburg, Illinois, and James Hope, freshman out of Napierville, Illinois. Left wing will be Scotty Swain, sophomore out of Baltimore, Maryland. Joe Santoro at center, 5'10", 190 out of Wolcott, Connecticut, the senior. And A.J. Gazzardi, he'll play right wing, 5'11", 180, freshman out of Berlin, Connecticut. The head coach in year 4 is Tim Richter. Assistant coach is Andy DeAngelis. And now we will pause for the playing of our national anthem this afternoon. Our national anthem here this afternoon. It looks like we paid to upgrade the band a little bit to a peppier version of our national anthem here. But good start to the new year. Let us all wish you, probably for the final time. I know this will probably be my final time wishing everybody a happy new year for this year, as I think the 6th is sort of the cutoff date. So happy new year, Coach. Happy new year to all of you listening and watching wherever you are on campus, around the state, around the country, or around the world this afternoon.
Yep, same to you and everyone else. Let's play a little hockey here. It's been a while.
Play a little hockey. It's been a while. Eagles looking to get back in the win column. 10 games in 25 days this month in January, starting today. Eagles on the road Friday at Westfield State before returning home here Saturday for senior night against Worcester State. Eagles have a very busy schedule upcoming. They'll play Assumption here a week from today as they get back into NE10 conference play. Assumption in the dark blue. Nice new uniforms for Assumption, going with the white lettering. They'll go left to right as you look at your screen and dial. The Eagles in the home whites with the purple lettering going right to left as we start our game today. Joe Santoro for the Eagles, Bailey Kerwin for Albertus Magnus, the Falcons. And here we go this afternoon at the Sports Center of Connecticut in Shelton. The puck is dropped. The Eagles win the faceoff, and off we go here this afternoon. A Tuesday afternoon where the temperature is gone up 10 degrees but still freezing cold outside here in the Northeast. Puck pops in the air. Santoro keeps it in, rims it around the boards. Gazzardi chasing after it. Tried to pinch it in but ended up losing the puck, and here comes Kindrachuk, their leading goal scorer, over the line. Takes a shot with a nice right pad save by Cunine, his first save of the winter season. Makes a good one there as Kindrachuk sent a low shot through a screen. That was stopped. Swain comes back the other way with a nice pass to Santoro in on a break, and he took a shot stopped right on by Caleb Shabbat. Long shot taken again, stopped by Shabbat again. Good setup from Swain to Santoro, just couldn't put it in. And Shabbat stands tall early on. Both goalies making a couple of key saves as the puck stumped into Shabbat. Rims it up the wall ahead. Back to the defense of Levin. And he'll dump it in all the way down. No icing as Coughlin chases the Eagles' Rieger. Murray fighting against two Albertus Magnus players right there. A puck pops up into the air, into the netting. And there's actually be a tripping penalty as well. And who's going on the power play? Is it going to be the Eagles?
Somebody's got to go in there.
He didn't point to a number. Let's see who he's giving this to. All the players looking confused, though they're all moving toward the Falcon zone. Still haven't seen a player go in, and finally it's going to be 37, Brandon Coughlin. 2 minutes for tripping at, although they put 90 seconds up, 2 minutes for tripping at 1:11. So the Eagles right to the power play, 8 for 44 on the season, 18.2%. Fourth in the NE10. They scored more power play goals already than they had all of last season. Albertus Magnus, number 1 in the UCHC in penalty kill, 42 for 47, 89.4%. So the Eagles with an early power play on a Coughlin trip. Falcons win the faceoff and send it all the way down the ice. Kennedy being checked off by Sjelnik. Long pass ahead to Swain, rolls off his stick, back to the Falcon defense, but they can't get it out. Swain keeps it in. Swain tries to pinch it down to Kimball. Kimball gives to Swain. Swain closing in toward the net. Has a move toward the net, then goes behind it. Spins back to Kimball, who let it go through his stick. He and Kennedy confused as to who would play it, and it goes all the way down the ice. Eagles had a good setup there, just didn't get a shot on goal. Kennedy gives to Santoro, rims it around. Santoro takes a hit for his effort. Swain tries to keep it in on the half wall. Kimball there as well, pinching in against Kerwin. 6 players right there. Kennedy comes away with it. Nice pass to Meyer. Meyer back to Kennedy, top of the left point. Goes to right point to Kimball. Kimball down low, looking for Swain. Swain bounces it on net, and it was stopped by Shabbat. And then a scrum in front of Shabbat with pushing and shoving. Scotty Swain and Santoro in there amongst the Eagles. Good stop by Shabbat. Good move by Swain, too, Coach. At least get it on the net from the low slot.
Yeah, right now, Albertus is very passive in their penalty kill, so post, move pucks, find seams, take advantage of that early on here.
1:02 remaining in the Eagles' power play. First of the game. 2:09 gone in period number 1 here this afternoon. No score from the Sports Center of Connecticut. We thank you for joining us wherever you are for NCAA hockey on a Tuesday afternoon in January before school gets back underway. For some, they get ready next week. For some, they get ready in 2 weeks. Depending on which child you have will depend on which child leaves first.
Yep, there you go.
At least in my world.
Yeah. Typically, the more you pay, the longer the break is.
Not true, because the one who pays more will have to go to West Virginia this weekend.
All right. Well, so then you're getting more money for
That's right.
You're getting more for
That's
your
right.
investment.
We have senior night on Saturday, and then I'll be in a car to West Virginia on Sunday.
All right.
Officials talking over. This might be where the face-off is, as both referees with Coach Richter right now, as we await what is
I'm not sure why that's such an
on.
issue. I'm not sure why that's such a big issue.
I'm not sure why that revolves a longer discussion. Now the official over at the scorer's table.
Unless there's a time issue. I mean, if I'm Albertus, I like this. It gives them a chance to take a breath and get organized here a little bit, as opposed to Post, who was kind of getting things jamming there a little bit.
I mean, from a clock issue, it seems okay from what we can see. The penalty was at 1:11, and now there's going to be a 5-minute major to Santoro.
I did not see what that was.
So 2:09 into the first period. It looks like Joe Santoro is getting a 5-minute major for something, as that's what's gone on the board. Now, does that lead to an ejection as well? Or just 5 minutes? Let's see.
Well, I don't see them right now. I don't see. Yep, there he goes.
And Santoro skating off, so it can't be a 5 and a 10 because he would still be able to sit there. 5 in a game. So it looks like 5 in a game. We'll have to see what that call is. I did not see what happened. He was involved with the scrum with Swain and a couple of Falcons, but didn't see what maybe was done during that scrum. But Joe Santoro, a 5-minute major at 2:09. That makes it 4-on-4, so the Eagles go 0 for 1 on the power play.
Joe Santoro, 5-minute major, and the GQ for game misconduct.
So still don't really know what the penalty was for. We just know he got a 5-minute major in a game misconduct. So we'll see if we can effort that for you, exactly what he got, or the rationale for the 5-minute major. But right now, Joe Santoro, a 5-minute major in a game misconduct at 2:09. 4-on-4 for another 47 seconds, and then Albertus Magnus will go on a roughly 4-minute man advantage. Bandu behind his own net. 4-on-4 we go. Pass over here to Bertamini. Keese, actually. Keese comes in over the line. Shot taken by Dan. It rolls wide. Picked up by Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk closing in on right wing. He takes a shot toward the net, right on. Stopped by Kunin again. And Howell comes away with it being chased by Kindrachuk. Nice check into the corner. No penalty. Kindrachuk looking for one. No call there. Both referees with their arms down, and now Noble trying to clear it out. Macau spins it, but gave it to Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk, their best player, at least from the offensive standpoint. Bandu takes the puck, has it roll off a stick, picks it up on the far side. Should be too many men on the ice as there are 5 Albertus Magnus players on, but now the penalty is expired. They jumped that a little early. Sullivan behind his own net. So we're all caught up now, 5-on-5. 5-on-4, excuse me. Sullivan in the slot, takes his shot, stopped by Kunin, as that was Sajelnik, the sophomore out of Moscow, Russia, who took that shot from the bumper position. The Eagles take the puck and send it all the way down the ice. So we're 5-on-4 now, 3:30 to go on the Santoro 5-minute major, being served by Billy Hawkins. 4 minutes gone in the first period, still no score, but a major power play for Albertus Magnus. Eagles get the puck and send it into their own bench, so they'll keep a faceoff deep inside the Eagles zone with 3:58 gone in period 1 and no score.
Yeah, a break for Albertus on that, because Post have been doing a good job and not letting them get set up, attacking early and getting the puck out.
Face-off between Murray and Kerwin right to Ben's left. Ben's already made 3 or 4 solid saves so far. Albertus wins the faceoff, goes D to D quickly. Shot from the point goes wide as Keese was looking for a corner. Kerwin behind his own net, has time, gives it over to Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk back to the point to Keese, gives it back to Kindrachuk, top of the far circle, down low, looking for the 2-man game. Kerwin in front, goes all the way across the crease. A great job by the defense of Kennedy, and the goaltending of Kunin gets that puck all the way out to center. They had the 2-man game down low, just couldn't get it across as as Kennedy and Kunin did a good job down low. And your goalie's going to be your best player on the penalty kill anyway. Kerwin back to the point to Bandu, gives the Keese. Keese over here for Lazinski, rolls off his stick. O'Connell gets the puck and sends it all the way down the ice. 2 minutes to go on the 5-minute major to Joe Santoro. And out comes Albertus Magnus. Here's Witt. Witt over the line. Up on right wing, takes a short angle shot. Did Caden Pattison, who took the pass from Witt. And another big save by Kunin. 5:06 into period number 1. Still no score. 2:03 remaining on the 5-minute major. We still don't know what the 5-minute major was for. Just a 5-minute major to Santoro and a disqualification. So the Eagles will play 1-man down also for the rest of the game, which will change up the offensive lines a little bit as well. Puck passed down low. Shot taken from a tight angle. Bottom of the circle was Dan. And that puck sent all the way down the ice. Kimball chasing Witt for it. Witt, though, goes D to D in his own zone. Spinning away with the puck is Demora. Demora gets outside into the neutral zone. Takes a return feed from Witt. Over the line looking for Dan down the slot. Couldn't find it. Dan picks it up behind the net. Gives to Pattison. Pattison comes up the half wall. Back to the point to Demora. Barely keeps it in. And a good job by Rieger to send it all the way down the ice. Eagles look good on the penalty kill so far. 90 seconds remain on the power play for Albertus Magnus. They are 8 for 57 on the year, 14%. That's 6th in the UCHC. In over the line comes Barrasso. He spins the net from far to near, leaves the puck for Bertamini. Bertamini closing in, centering pass goes through the crease, but misses all the sticks and comes out the other side. Bertamini On the goal line extended, back to the point to Levin. Levin goes to Barrasso, tried to go across. Pass was blocked, ended up on the stick of Bertamini. He took a shot, fanned on it. Barrasso picks it up over here. Barrasso, top of the slot, takes a shot toward the net. Cunin makes the save, being pushed into his own goal. Rebound is sent through the slot and all the way down. Falcons cleared it themselves this time with 45 remaining on the penalty kill for the Eagles. Glassroot in there, gets it with the stick, goes up the boards, and nice keep in there by Bertamini. Bertamini to Sajelnik. Back to Bertamini, down over here. He takes a return feed, left point. He switches sides now. Leaves it for Sullivan. Sullivan into the slot area with a shot that bounces by Ben and just wide. Lavoie into the corner. Return pass in front by Sullivan as Bertamini cruised down from his point position. Puck got deflected. Now in front for Lavoie, goes behind him and all the way down the ice. And the Eagles, who are number 3 in the NE10 in penalty kills, are going to get out of this one. 31 for 35 coming into the game, 88.6%. They've officially killed it, and then they have iced it as well. But the power play 5-minute major to Joe Santoro is over. We're 7:16 into the first. Still no score. Good job on the penalty kill overall by the Eagles coach. They really limited the chances.
Yeah, I mean, they did a really good job with their pressure. Albertus had some really grade A potential opportunities, but because of their pressure from post, they just weren't able to execute. So just a great job by them knocking that, 3 minutes and change off the clock there.
Back to 5 aside. Glassroot takes the face-off win from McCall. Comes over here for Pekka. Pekka probably going to end up seeing more playing time than he had expected today now. McCall takes it behind the net, tries to feed it up, turned it over, and then the Eagles turn it over at center to Keese. Keese to Bandu, sends it back in. They're looking for an icing, the Eagles are, and they'll get it. So that face-off will be deep inside the Falcon zone for what seems like a while now. With 7:37 gone in period 1, the Eagles looking now to regain the offense. They had a power play that they had 58 seconds of time on. Scotty Swain had a really good offensive opportunity, and then a 5-minute major to Joe Santoro took it off the board, and the Eagles have been playing defense since. Murray on the draw, lost it. Puck goes up in the air, goes over Noble. Racing back to get it is Rieger. He does touch it before Coughlin does, but the Falcons have the puck right now. Back to the point, long shot by Cupolo, blocked and out to center. Kyle Capullo, sophomore out of Waterloo, Ontario. A lot of Canadian-born and foreign-born players on this Albertus Magnus team. A worldly unit. 2-on-1 comes Albertus Magnus back in with a shot. Stopped by Ben Cunin as Delinis came in up on right wing. The Eagles turn it back the other way. Here's the freshman Hawkins. Over the line, looking for a shot. He spins one that goes wide. Picked up by McQuegan on the other side. It rolls off his stick. Kept in by Hope. Hope, long shot, goes behind the net. Picked up on the other side by Bolak. Bolak trying to turn it toward the net. Howell has an opportunity on a spinorama that goes behind the net. Bolak now on the far side. Back to Hope. Hope comes over here to Kennedy. Kennedy holds, still has it. Waits, fakes, looking for a lane to get it toward the net. Can't find one, goes to Hope. Hope cruising into the middle, shot it right into 3 players, and it's blocked and sent out to center. Kennedy in his own zone. Hope at center ice, gets to the blue line, dumps it in. Bolak, Howell, and McQuegan still out there. Good offensive shift in the zone, just didn't get much toward the net. But that line's still out there, and the puck's sent all the way down the ice. There won't be an icing. Hope looking for one, but he'll have to play it inside his own zone. Goes behind his back, gets it to Swain. Swain with some speed up to center. He's up on right wing. He's in over the line. Had it chopped off his stick nicely by the defense of Levin. Backhand pass through the slot out to center, and here's Kindrachuk. Picked it up on right wing. Zane Kindrachuk toward the net. It rolled off his stick, and Bertamini had it roll off his toe and into the corner where Glassroot's trying to play it. 4 players up on the half wall. It's finally sent to center by Swain, and back comes Levin. He'll dump it right back in on Cunin. A bouncing puck stopped. Shot on goal nonetheless, and we're halfway through the first period and no score. Swain reverses the flow to Meyer. Meyer goes to Glassroot, ends up on the stick of Swain, and he'll try to carry it out. Looking for a quick pass up to Meyer, too far. All the way back deep into the Falcon zone. Eagles will make a line change. here. Kunin behind his own net. Looked like he was going to rim it around. Instead, he left it for Rieger. He'll come out the far side. Rieger looking for a lane, gets out of his own zone up the center. Spins back, comes back to his own zone, but his D partner was changing. Noble comes on, gives it to McCall. McCall gets to the red line, dumps it in, chases after it is McMains. McMains tried to get there before Bandu. Bandu got it first, rimmed it up the wall. Noble keeps it in. Shoots it off the referee. Bad break for the Eagles as they had a player down low as it bounced off the referee. And now a centering pass walking in there with a shot was Pattison, shaking his hand in frustration as he had a breakaway from the bottom of the circle in and missed the net completely. Break for the Eagles there. Shot toward the net, blocked in front. McCall takes out Pattison, and Noble will come out a four-man wave for the Eagles. Now 3-on-2, actually. Pekka up on left wing over the line. Pekka waits, goes back to Noble. Noble has a lane, takes a shot toward the net, but blocked by the sliding Coughlin. Murray on the far side, bottom of the circle, toward the net, takes a shot that gets deflected. Rieger's playing down low now, centered it out in front to Pekka, who's sort of taking his defensive position for the moment, and the puck sent all the way back to center where Hawkins will play it. Hawkins fan on it, Sullivan takes it away, walks in there, big save by Kunin! As Hawkins fan on his pass, Sullivan stole it, walked in, and Kunin made a big save on a breakaway. That's 2 breakaways in the last 45 seconds for Albertus. Magnus, one wide and one that Kunin stopped. Out the other side is Lavoie. Takes a shot toward the net. Pops up in the air. Nobody knows where it is. Finally, Hope gets it and gives it out to Murray. Murray gets to the red line. Dumps it in. Kimball chasing after it. He'll win the race. Tried to center it in front. He did. It rolled off Shabbat, who hasn't had to make a save in about 8 minutes. And the Eagles turn it over. Back comes Albertus Magnus. The Falcons the other way. Shot chopped toward the net. Goes wide. Sullivan behind the net. Sullivan looking to center it out in front. He did, but the only one there was an Eagle and Hawkins. And gave it to Hope, who gives to Howell, gets to the red line. He'll dump it in. He'll chase it in. And Bolak, McQuegan, and Howell right back out there. The most effective offensive line. Pinned to the wall is Howell. Bolak comes in to take a return hit after Howell got hit. Puck rimmed around from far to near. Howell will pick it up in the near side corner. He'll take his hit, get the puck. He took his hit, delivered a hit, and had the puck. McQuegan behind the net, in front for Bolak, and he just fanned on it. Glassrud gave it down low to McQuegan, who tried to go back to Kennedy, but the puck was stolen by Barresso and sent in as the Falcons will change. A fast-moving last 3 minutes with both teams having opportunities here at the Sports Center of Kennedy. Kennedy in his own zone being checked off by Lacus. Spindled it down low to Delinis. Delinis looking to center. It goes back to the point. Long shot taken from the point, blocked as Levin took it from the far side. It went off a leg. Eagles tried to do a full line change as Albertus Magnus was offside. Then a long shot taken from the left wing side. Blocked, spindled around the net. Eagles just trying to get it out now. And Meyer will reset to Glassrud with 6:45 to go in the first period. The Eagles dump it to center. Goes past the stick of Bertamini into the Falcon zone. Nearly turned it over, but Barrasso comes up with it at center. Barrasso over the line for Delinis. Back to Barrasso. They switch sides. Barrasso goes behind the net, looking to center. He'll instead go back to the point. One timing shot. I think Kunin got a leg on that from a shot from 25 feet out, taken by Bandu. And the puck sent all the way back to center. Eagles just surviving right now with 6:18 to go in the first period. Gazzardi checking Bandu behind his net. Bandu tried to gain ahead of steam. He does. Makes a long backhand pass. This could be icing, and it will be icing as Rieger gets back to make the touch. Coach, a very fast 5 minutes with the Eagles playing a lot of defense.
Well, we talked about the neutral zone being so important for post, and right now the transition of Albertus is just at a pace, and the way they're moving the puck and supporting it, making it very tough for post to control anything in that neutral zone. However, in the defensive zone, post does a good job when they can settle it down and break the puck out. They're doing a good job of that.
Keese fed it too long. This won't be an icing because Kindrachuk won the race. It actually took a Falcon bounce. Puck now goes behind the net to Kerwin. Kerwin spins away, but a nice check by O'Connell. Pinned Kerwin to the wall. Puck sent all the way around to the far side. Bandu keeps it in. Bandu to Kerwin behind the net. Back to the point, stolen by McMains. McMains 2-on-2, maybe a 3-on-2 if the Eagles hurry. Feeds a pass looking for Pekka. Too far. Keese takes it, sends it right back the other way, and here comes Zane Kindrachuk. But a good check by Kennedy to keep him away from it. Nicely done by Kennedy. And Hope will pick it up behind the net. McMains to to Pekka. Up on left wing, Mateo Pekka over the line, looking for some room. Goes into the corner, pinned to the wall by Keese. McMains comes to pick it up, centers it in front. It goes all the way through. Good play by Hope momentarily to keep it in, but then lost it on the chop check. And here comes a 2-on-1 with Kerwin. Kerwin over the line, gives a nice 3-on-1 passing. Lazinski in front, centered, and it goes off a leg. And it goes off Kerwin's leg and wide. Bounced off 2 legs, ended up on Kerwin's leg, and it went wide. Coughlin shot toward the net, blockered away in front by Kunin, and then a cross-slot pass taken by Kennedy, and the Eagles will regroup with 5 minutes to go in the first period. Kennedy gets away from Coughlin, long pass to Kimball, who tipped it, so no icing, all the way down, and Witt will pick it up behind his own net. Eagles make a full change. Pinching in is Murray. Murray keeps it in momentarily. Good job there. Hawkins back to the point to Kimball. Goes to Glassrud. Back to Kimball. Shot toward the net. Stopped by Shabbat. His first save in a while. Puck in the near side corner. 4 players in there. Now a 5th in Witt. Goes into that corner to fight. Hawkins and Kimball are the Eagles down there. Murray now looking to pinch in as well. So now 6 players. Puck comes away and taken by Albertus Magnus and brought out to center. Pattison gets to the blue line. Takes a shot off Glassrud's 6-7 frame that gets blocked. Kept in momentarily. Nice hit by Hawkins, and here comes Howe. Howe gets to the red line. Dump and chase he goes. As the Eagles change behind the play, Bolak and McQuegan will come on for the Eagles as well. Coughlin had to roll off his stick. This could be an icing, and it will be. Fast-paced action. Another break for the Eagles in the defensive zone as that puck rolled off the stick of Coughlin, but the Eagles now have a face-off deep in the Falcon zone with 3:53 to go in period 1. Don't forget to stay with us in the first intermission. We'll go around the post-university sports scene as everybody gets ready for the winter season, basketball, women's hockey, and the like. That'll be in the first intermission of this afternoon's post-university men's hockey game. Falcons win yet another face-off. They will bring it out to center. Coughlin looks for Dan. Dan had it roll off his stick, taken by O'Connell. O'Connell gives to Howe, looks for McQuegan. McQuegan tries to make a cut, gets taken down, looking for a call, doesn't get one. Puck sent back to center to Rieger. Rieger with some speed and some space. Closes in, near side, backhand shot, stopped by Shabbat. Eagles find a rebound. Howe in front, they score! Howe spun it around. It was kicked right to Rieger at the bottom of the far circle, and the Eagles, despite playing defense for this entire first period, get the opening goal at 16:36, and they lead 1-0. Coach, good play by Rieger, first of all, to bring it in, take the backhand. Howell won the battle, spun around with it, and then Shabbat just saved it, kicked it right over to Rieger, who had a wide open net, and slams it in for goal number 2 for Owen Rieger this season.
Yeah, and again, honestly, a lot of it starts in the defensive zone with your goaltender. Your goaltender just making save after save, not giving the other team anything. Start squeezing the stick a little tight. You know, a turnover there that obviously that player wants back that probably shouldn't have happened, and puts him in a good position to take advantage of it.
So Owen Rieger, his second goal of the season, the sophomore out of Foxborough, Massachusetts. Give the assist to Jacob Howell. See if there's a second assist. But the Eagles, who have played a lot of defense, haven't given up a ton of grade A shots, but a lot of defense, they have a 1-0 lead. Here's Dedden's shot toward the net, stopped by Kunin on a one-timer. Give an assist to McQuegan as well. This Howell, McQuegan, Bolak line been the best one for the Eagles through the first period so far. So for Howell, his 3rd assist of the season, and for McQuegan, his 1st assist of the season. That goal at 16:36, and the Eagles have a 1-0 lead. Face-off one again. Taken, the shot was Kindrachuk off a Falcon win. They've been dominant in the face-off dart early on, and Zane Kindrachuk took a shot from the top of the far circle. Stopped by Kunin with 2:53 to go in the first period.
Yeah, Albertus is going to have to figure out a way to move that puck across the Royal Road or create some rebounds if they hope to have much success against Ben today.
Hawkins chips it ahead. Keese backhands it, but Hawkins there goes the other side with a shot for Kimball at the short side as he came around the net. Good play by Hawkins to play it off his body and send it to Kimball, and a nice save by Shabbat. Coming back the other way with some speed over the line, but offsides was Bandu, Alexei Bandu, the 6'1 freshman out of Notre Dame de la Perrot, Quebec. just offsides.
Yeah, and I think Baxter, if he had to do it again, would just hold on to that puck for another second because he had a lot of net up in the corner there. He could have corralled that puck.
Pekka takes the win on the faceoff, but then turns it over, and the puck sent back in by Lakis. Lakis comes up with it behind the net. Delinas loses it. McMains comes away with it. He tries the near side now, and he has a little bit of speed and goes across the ice too far for Macau. This should be an icing, and it is. Face-off deep inside the Eagles zone. This Albertus Magnus team, as we've mentioned a couple times, very international. Several Canadians, a Lithuanian, a player from Russia, several from Quebec, some from Alberta, and a guy from Las Vegas, which is international in its own right.
They got it all covered.
So an eclectic group of Falcons, but they trail 1-0 right now, late in the first period, 2 minutes to go. Puck sent up the wall, played by Rieger, the goal scorer. Rieger chipped it ahead to McMains, does a good job to glove it down, then turned it over, but then keeps it in again with a glove. Pekka avoids the hit of Witt. Spins the puck behind the net. Falcons struggling to get it out. Barrasso checked nicely by McMains. Still pushing forward, though, as Barrasso has size, 6'5", 195 out of Mountain Lakes, New Jersey. Here's Barrasso up on right wing over the line. Still has the puck. He's gone for a 200-foot skate, and then a shot taken on the short side by Dan, stopped by Barrasso. Kept in at the blue line, Levin. Left point toward the net, looking for a deflection, didn't find one, and it goes wide. Howell has it in the near side corner. Far side corner, excuse me. Barrasso gloved it down and out the center. This should be a hand pass, but they're going to say it was deflected, so no hand pass. And 1:08 to go in the first period. 1-0 Eagles on a goal by Owen Rieger. Pass by Witt goes off a leg, deflects to Levin. Levin sends it into the Eagle zone where Hope will play it with time. Long pass looking for Bolak. Too far. This might be an icing. They wave it off, though. That means Levin will have to play, and he goes D-to-D with it to Bertamini. Here comes a rush by the Falcons. Long pass goes from Coughlin, goes too far for Pattison. Hope comes away with it, gives to Howell. Howell gives to Bolak. Bo goes across to McQuegan. McQuegan at the red line, dumps it in with 35. Eagles do a full change. Shabbat will have time behind his net to leave it for Bertamini. 1-0 Eagles on an Owen Rieger goal. Long pass to Dan. Flex off his stick, deep into the corner behind the net. Glassroot fanned on his pass. Pattison got there first, 1-on-3, rimmed it around for Coughlin, but a good job by Meyer to cut off the angle. He's got it pinned in the near side corner as Zajelnik in there as well. He comes away with it, looking for Keese, goes too far, dumps it all the way back to center. This might do it for period number one. One last opportunity maybe for Capolo. He goes behind his net, not going to have enough time. That'll end period number one. Coach, a big 1-0 lead for the Eagles, who have played a lot of defense. We'll wait to see what the shots on goal and the faceoffs are, but I think they heavily weighed Albertus Magnus. But Rieger's second of the year from Howell and McQuegan to 1636. 1-0 Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what counts is what's up on the scoreboard, and certainly time of possession opportunities favor the Falcons, but posted a really great job of taking advantage of when they do get those opportunities. They got that grade A, and they were able to bury it. So kudos to them, and now we got our first period of 2026 over, and we can look forward to the next one.
Eagles down Joe Santoro for the rest of the game after he received a 5-minute major and a game misconduct. We'll hope to have a little more information on exactly what was done to cause that 5-minute major. In between periods here this afternoon at Sports Center of Connecticut with the score, the Eagles 1, the Falcons nothing. We'll come back in 2 minutes with a look around the post-university sports scene. You're listening and watching the Post-University Hockey on the NE10 Now Network, youtube.com/GoPostEagles, the CACC Network, and all the places we are, the Post-University Sports Network. First period intermission here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, where the Eagles on an Owen Rieger goal lead 1-0. A solid overall period for the Eagles, though they did give up many shots and opportunities. We'll have all of that, though, at the end of the intermission. But what we do in the first period intermission at every post-university men's hockey home game is go around the post-university sports scene, and that's brought to you by Post University, ranked as one of the top online colleges for 2025 by Newsweek. This month, Post is celebrating 25 years, a quarter century of empowering learners worldwide. So ask yourself, are you a Post person? Reach out today to see what Post can offer you. Online, hybrid, or on-campus options await. For more information on all of Post degree programs, to visit campus, take a tour, or to apply, go to post.edu. That's post.edu. Do it today. Eagle fans, it's 2026. Did you get a gift this holiday season that you really didn't like? Did your aunt buy you a shirt 3 sizes too big or 3 sizes too small? Well, it's a new year. Let's fix that by getting something you want, and that's some Post Eagle clothing or branded items. Go to posteagles.com, click on the Fans tab, then choose School Store on the left-hand side and shop for all the latest Eagle swag and apparel. Shop today and use the code EXTRA15 to receive 15% off any order of $75 or more. Exclusions do apply. That's EXTRA, EXTRA 15. It will expire on Sunday, January 11th. You can also visit the campus store and the Lever Student Center on campus that are open Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Let's start with men's basketball. And Dang Akok had a double-double, his first career double-double, 26 points and 13 rebounds as he helped the Eagles defeat Caldwell University, their largest win at home this season, 88-57. Akok had an excellent overall game, as well as junior guard Zion Lott. Eagles 104-72. They moved to 4-8 on the season, 3-2 in the CACC. Georgian Court falls to 5-8 on the season, 2-3 in the CACC. Akok recorded his first double-double of all time. At halftime, the Eagles are 4-0 when leading and 0-7 when trailing, 0-1 when tied. 104 points of scoring for Post was their most since December 7th, 2024, and a 111-100 win at home against the University of Bridgeport. 32-point margin of victory is the largest win ever against Caldwell University. The next non-conference game, its final non-conference game, Post will pay a visit to the College of Staten Island. That's tonight, 7:30. Last season marked the first time in program history in which the teams faced off. The Eagles defeated the College of Staten Island 86-71 in that game last year. Eagles will be away on Saturday against Goldie Beacom as well before returning home a week from tomorrow to host Caldwell University. That game's at 7:30 p.m. up at the Drubner Center. As for the women, junior forward Alyssa Rossignol finished with a team-high 24 points on 10 for 18 shooting as the Eagles played their first home game since November 30th, taking on Georgian Court University. But unfortunately for the Eagles, they fell 69-60 and fall to 1-7 overall, 0-4 in the CACC. Eagles will hit the road. They'll play the College of Staten Island today at 5:30 p.m. The Eagles fell to the College of Staten Island 72-68 last season. So both the men and women at the College of Staten Island, women at 5:30, men at 7:30 today. Women will return for their next home game after a road game at Goldie Beacom on Saturday. They'll play home against Caldwell 5:30 on Wednesday before going back on the road to Delaware over Martin Luther King weekend. Women's hockey, well, they're chomping at the bit to get ready, and they will get ready on Friday as they play their first game since December 6th. They'll play Assumption here at the Sports Center of Connecticut Friday, 1 o'clock. Here on youtube.com/GoPostEagles and the CACC Network. That game will be on the Post University Sports Network. Again, 1 o'clock for the women. 6-13-1 overall this season. 6-7-1 in conference. 2-8 at home as they'll play a home-and-home against Assumption before traveling to Franklin Pierce for 2 games over the Martin Luther King weekend. NEWHA standings, St. A's in first place with 34 points. Franklin Pierce in second with 29. Stonehill and Assumption tied at 25. Eagles at 19 in 5th. LIU in 6 of 17, the defending champs. Sacred Heart 15 and St. Michael's 4 round out the NEWHA standings. Eagles only 6 points out. That's 2 games of a home playoff series. They got to catch Assumption or Stonehill, and it will start by playing Assumption in a home-and-home this weekend. 1 o'clock here at the Sports Center of Connecticut to come out and support your women's hockey team as they take on Assumption. Last but not least, women's flag football will get underway sooner than later, and we want to get you excited for the women's flag football team, the newest sport at Post University. They will start, while we're still a couple of months away, they will start their flag football season on Saturday, February 28th in Philadelphia, as they'll play Harcum College and Holy Family University. And then the home opener, March 8th, they'll play Wagner College at Lemoy Field. That's 11 a.m. on March 8th. It's a Sunday. The Eagles will open the home flag football portion of the schedule in Waterbury at Lemoy Field. So come on out. We'll be broadcasting all those games this year as well on the Post University Sports Network. So join us for women's flag football, the newest sport at Post University. That's your look around the Post University sports scene here this afternoon at the Sports Center of Connecticut, where the Eagles lead Albertus Magnus 1-0. We'll be back in 2 minutes with our recap of the first period. You're listening and watching the Post University Hockey on the Post University Sports Network. First period intermission here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. 1-0 the Eagles lead on an Owen Rieger goal. A beautiful setup by Rieger primarily, who took a pass from Hugh McQuegan, broke in on the left side of center ice, had some room, took a backhand, puck squirted free into the slot where Howell outpaced his man. That's Jacob Howell. Found the puck, turned around with it, took a shot right on the Shabbat, who kicked it to the other side of the ice, but Rieger had come all the way around to the far side, and he took that puck off the save by Shabbat, had a wide open net, and slammed it into an open goal at 16:36 for his second of the year. Howell and McQuegan the assists, and that gave the Eagles a 1-0 lead. That's where we are after one period. Shots on goal in the first period, 16 for Albertus Magnus, Post with 7. Faceoffs, shockingly, only 9-6 in favor of Albertus Magnus. Joe Santoro, 5-minute major for contact to the head. So that's the official reason he was kicked out of the game. A 5-minute major and a game misconduct. Both teams 0 for 1 on the man advantage, though. Albertus Magnus's power play was 4 minutes in length, and Eagles was only 1 minute. Coach, Eagles survived the first period. They can't play 2 more periods like that, but they come out with a 1-0 lead, have to feel good, but they have to know they can't score just 1 goal and hope Ben holds this game down by making 50 saves.
No, that's absolutely true. And again, if you're Albertus, you're working on, I think, a little more puck control, a little more lateral movement, holding on to pucks. Their worst case scenario is, the puck gets melted down and we make a save. They're winning. So zone time will be important for them for post. They've got to find a way to slow the attack in the neutral zone. They need some better angling, some better play, realizing that when Albertus gets the puck and they're able to move it to one wall, the far winger is getting sucked inside the dot, which leaves room outside the dot for them to make a nice, easy pass, and they can just gain the zone. So you have to make it harder for them to gain zone and then let your defense do what it does best, supports the puck well and breaks the puck out well. The defensive side of post game is very good, save the neutral zone right now. And then offensively, they're able to take advantage of opportunities when they get clear grade A's. They've been able to bury pucks, and they've had a little bit more time to do that than Albertus has. Albertus has really been moving that puck, and their passes haven't really been great tape-to-tape passes. Some of that might be just getting it going in the first period, and some of that might be because Post is doing a good job of taking away that time and space.
Felt like Albertus at times was, fancy is not the right word, but I think they were trying to feed too many pucks through too many bodies versus just making the simple play, which, again, they still had 16 shots and a couple of them really nice chances, a couple of sort of in-zone breakaways, but felt like at times they were trying to go through too many bodies with pucks versus just taking shots.
Right, and haven't seen much of that. We talked about that 2-on-1 game early on before things started. Haven't really seen too much of that. Haven't seen a ton of give it and go move and get it back. Saw it early with Post, actually, on an early play where they did a nice job with it. But haven't seen too much of that. And that whoever can kind of master that or get better at that has a distinct advantage in this game.
Teams have taken the ice as we get ready for period number 2. Albertus Magnus in the sharp-looking dark blue uniforms, new uniforms that I think we saw last year. Go right to left as you look at your screen and dial for the second period with the nice white lettering. Eagles in the home whites, and they're nice new uniforms as well. In the purple lettering, we'll go left to right. Ben Kunin to your left, the goalie for the Eagles, and Caleb Shabbat, the freshman goaltender for Albertus Magnus. 1-0 Eagles. We get ready to go here this afternoon. Scotty Swain, Bailey Kerwin, 2 number 11s in the dot, and the Eagles win the face-off to start period number 2. Shabbat plays it behind his own net, gives to Bando, who gets away from the check of Gazzardi, goes back to the point, though, for Hope, who takes a shot through too many bodies. Lazinski blocked it. That was Lazinski who blocked it. And puck sent back into the Eagles zone. Bando again. Backhand pass looking for Kerwin. Finds Kerwin on the half wall, but Meyer does a good job pinning him there. And Gazzardi comes away with it. Goes behind the net. Gazzardi looking for somebody to pass to. Comes over here on the near side half wall. Leaves it for Swain. Swain back to the point to Hope. Over here for Kennedy. Kennedy toward the net for a shot. Blocked away by Shabbat. As he was looking for a shot through the screen of Meyer. Gazzardi gets to Swain. Swain back to the point to Hope again. Hope. Long shot toward the net. Stopped with Meyer in front again by Shabbat. Swain. Good job. Held off by Bandu. Stolen away by Lazinski. Lazinski at the red line. Comes in over the line and offsides as he spun right at the blue line.
Quick whistle there. I don't think that puck ever got over the blue line.
Either way, whistle. 57 seconds into the first period. But, Coach, good 50 seconds or so zone time for the Eagles there. Couple of shot opportunities. Not great A's, but shots. And good work by Swain and company.
Post has a lot of skilled players. I mean, puck possession, important for them.
Murray tries to hit it ahead. Referee behind the play blows the whistle. I think that might have gone into the bench area. And there'll be a face-off just outside the Falcon zone. They'll do it right back at center ice. Murray and Dan. Kyle Dan, 6'175" junior out of Windham, New Hampshire. Loses the face-off to Murray, and then a scrum right there at center ice. Feeds the puck back into the Falcon zone and pinched up the wall to Pattison. Pattison to Dan, up on left wing. Tries to spin away from Rieger. He does, back to the point to Witt. Witt tries to take a shot. It goes blocked off the body of Hawkins. Behind the net to Coughlin. Coughlin looks for the point man. Blocked down was Demora. He'll then send it in around the wall, and playing is Dan in the corner. Dan near corner to Witt, near point to Demora. Demora creates a wide angle, shoots it toward the net, bounces off the wall, tried to feed back in front. Eagle defense pinched it behind the net, and Rieger comes up with it. Here's Owen Rieger with some speed. He'll spin away, though, in his own zone as he was getting sort of trapped in the corner. Looking ahead for Pekka, goes all the way down the ice, and this will be an icing. As Rieger tried to feed Pekka right up the middle, but sent it too far, and that'll lead to a face-off deep inside the Eagle zone. 1:52 gone in the second period. Here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, Jeff Nelson, Coach Pete Whitney with us here today on the broadcast, as we usually are. Good crowd on hand for a Tuesday afternoon, including those working out above us. Probably the only arena in the NE10 where people work out while you watch hockey.
Yeah, I think you're pretty close to it. Usually it's a cafeteria up there, right?
Absolutely. Well, the cafeteria's on the left, and we have the workout center on the right. So you get a lot of people watching these games doing other things, and the puck down low, long shot taken, and a big stop by Kunin as a bad angle shot taken by Levin. Squirted free into the slot area, but Kunin did a good job to kick it away. Here's Pekka coming back the other way, in over the line. Pekka with speed, leaves it for Macau, takes a shot and fanned on it as it went wide. He was closing in from the top of the near circle. Back the other way comes Levin. Levin over the line. Lost it. Sullivan to Lavoie. Dumps it in. Levin to Lavoie. Puck goes behind the net. Noble gives to McMains. McMains tries to get it out. He'll dump it to center. Played by Bernamini. Bernamini feeds it over here for Keese, who tried to find Sullivan breaking. Said too far, heads to Glassrud. McCowell will touch it. No icing. Shabbat plays it behind his net, gives to Keese. Keese rims it all the way around over here, just past the stick of Bolak, and out to center. Glassrud in his own zone, goes off the leg of Sullivan. Puck goes all the way down the ice, so no icing. Bernamini and Bolak is dumped, and there's going to be a penalty on Delinis. Spelled Delinis, but said Delinis per the Albertus Magnus program. He's going to get 2 minutes for interference at 3:02, and the Eagles will go on their second power play of the game. They're going to call it hooking technically, but you could call it interference or two or three other things, as Bolak was dumped in the slot. And the Eagles had 58 seconds of power play time in the first period, weren't able to get a goal. That was before the Santoro 5-minute major for a hit to the head. Put the Eagles on their second power play of the game. Swain, Murray, Meyer, the three Eagle forwards. Sorry, Coach.
Yeah, golden opportunity here for Post.
Witt tries to play it up the middle for Pattison, but a good job by Kimball to go back and play it. Kennedy behind his own net will await the setup. Makes a fancy little move to keep going. Gets to center, long pass to Kimball. Kimball plays give and go with Swain. Kimball feeds it back to the point to Meyer nicely on the far side. Meyer gets in the middle, gives to Kennedy one-timer shot blocked right in front by his opposing number, Witt. Eagles try to play it in the near side corner, that ever-present Zamboni corner. Puck rimmed all the way around to Demora. Demora tries to get it out, goes past Meyer and all the way down the ice. Good setup for Kennedy, just shot it into the Albertus Magnus penalty killer and wasn't able to get it on net. Here's Howell. Long pass. Nice play by Swain to touch it. Swain tries for the backhand pass. Instead, it went to Demora. Demora rims it all the way around. There's no Eagle there, and the Eagles have to get back quickly. Here's Lazinski. Over the line. Lazinski with speed. Breaks in. Shot wide as Ben cut out the corner. And Lazinski just missed the net on a breakaway. A 160-foot skate for Lazinski. But shot it wide. Break for the Eagles again. Here's Gazzardi. Gazzardi trying to go 1-on-4. Not always the best play. And he turns it over again to Lazinski. He's got a second breakaway. Lazinski in. Scores that time as he shot it over the shoulder of Kunin. You can't give the same guy two breakaways in a row. And Sam Lazinski, the freshman out of Calgary, Alberta, scores his first goal of the season at 4:23 shorthanded, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, and that's the fourth, I think. That's the fourth breakaway that they gave up so far. And Got to have
back.
that other D has got to rotate back, take away that space. You got to be sure.
Back-to-back breakaways for Lazinski. The first one he shot wide. The second one he shot over the shoulder of Kunin, who couldn't do anything about that one. And at 4:23, a shorthanded goal for Albertus Magnus, and it's 1-1. Unassisted goal because that puck went right to Lazinski, who broke it in from the blue line. And the Eagles are tied at 1, but they still have 20 seconds of power play time. Howe toward the net wide. Gazzardi couldn't keep it in, and it'll go back out to center. So the first varsity goal for Sam Lazinski, the freshman of Calgary, Alberta, ties this game at 1, a shorthanded goal nonetheless. And power play over, Eagles 0 for 2. So 2 power plays for the Eagles, 2 bad things. The 5-minute major by Santoro, followed by the shorthanded goal. McQuegan, nice pass to McMains, and he scores! The Eagles fixed that problem right away at 5:11 as McQuegan and McMains plays a solid 2-man game. And for Bradley McMains, his second goal of the year, the sophomore out of Portland, Maine, on a nice give and go with McQuegan, his second point of the game. And at 5:11, Coach, 2-1.
Well, there's that 2-man game that we were talking about, right? That 2-on-1, move the puck. Nice play.
Not sure there'll be a second assist, but for McMains, his second goal of the season. Nice play, and by the way, nice move by McMains as well. Very Matthew Schaefer-like in Austin Matthews, if you were at the Islander game on Saturday night. Very similar play. And the Eagles get their 1-goal lead right back. Shot from Hope from the point right on. It was deflected by the stick of Macau. Pekka to Macau, looking for Hope, but it goes outside the zone. So the Eagles have broken through, gone beyond 1 goal as well, which is also big for the Eagles, given that they're averaging less than 2 goals a game. Now they're over that number. And it's 2-1. Puck played by Capolo. So give Howell an assist as well. That's his second assist of the game at 5:11. So officially McMains is second from McQuegan and Howell at 5:11. So McQuegan and Howell each with 2 assists in this game so far. Here's Connor Murray with some speed up on right wing. He's in over the line, tries to go around Capolo. He does. Gets the puck in the corner, tried to find Hawkins with it, fanned on his pass, turned it over, puck sent up the wall and all the way down. No icing. As they say, it went off of Noble. So Glassrud will play it behind his own net, trying to get away from the oncoming check of Kerwin. He turned it over in the slot with a shot taken right on by Lazinski, looking for his second goal. Feeling some confidence after his back-to-back breakaways, getting 1 goal. Puck pops up in the air, goes off Lazinski again. Kerwin fanned on it. Lazinski plays it top of the right point. Looking for a shot toward the net, but he goes off Murray's leg and out to center. Demora sends it right back in. Gloved by Kunin. Left for Noble. Behind his own net as Albertus Magnus tags up. Noble almost turning it over. He did turn it over. Kerwin checked by Glassrud. Back to the point to Demora. Takes a shot toward the net. Blocked away by Kunin. Into the near side corner where 2 Eagles go fighting for it. Glassrud tries to get it. He does. Gives to Noble. And the Eagles may finally be able to get out. Long pass to center. Turns it over. Witt picked it up. Dumps it right back in. Albertus Magnus goes for another line change. Kindrachuk in forechecking. Glassrud trying to spin away from Kindrachuk. Benches are on that side, so Albertus Magnus able to make a quick line change, and the puck back to Bernamini. Bernamini fakes a shot. Gives over here. Long shot off the post. Off the near side post on the wrist shot taken by Delinis, who was in the penalty box. Picks it up in the corner, pinned by Glassrud. Eagles trying to find it. Another big hit down low. Still trying to come out with it. Back to Bernamini, though, played by Delinis. Delinis toward the net, blockered away and out of play. Coach, break for the Eagles on the Delinis shot that hit the corner there. It looked like it hit the corner of the post and the crossbar on the near side.
Yeah, and again, both things that are difficult for each team to handle is that quick puck movement, and you see when that puck moves laterally right across that Royal Road, opportunities are created off of that. So both teams seem to be aware of that and trying to accomplish that.
So Jelnick and Swain in the draw to Ben's left. Eagles lead 2-1. Each team exchanged goals. Lazinski's first on a breakaway shorthanded at 4:23, and then Bradley McMains made it 2-1. Gazzardi gets it in his corner, far corner. Levin pinned him off. Now Bernamini in there. Gazzardi comes away with it again, tries to go back to the point to Swain, but turned it over, and here's Lavoie up to center. Gives it to Sullivan, who dumps it in. Eagles rim it all the way around. Lavoie keeps it in, dumps it back to Sullivan, and tried to quick center it out in front. Good job by O'Connell to block that. Kept in by Sajelnik toward the net. It bounces off Kunin. Wide open net, but a puck fanned on as Keith pinched in and bounced off his stick. Here's Swain over the line. Wrist shot. Nice left pad save made by Shabbat. McQuegan picked it up. Tries to dump it down low. Keith in there. Good play by Swain still on the ice. Swain fighting off two Falcons before finally losing the puck. Now going off on the change. Bernamini long pass. It should be an icing, but it rims the wrong way, so no icing. Lavoie gets checked off by Hope as the Eagles now have to rush down into the defensive zone. Kennedy looking for McQuegan. Bodies go flying, and there's a penalty behind the play for interference, and this might actually be on Albertus Magnus, Coach.
It looks like it is. Looks like Post will get another kick at the can here.
Break for the Eagles. I didn't see that one behind the play, but 2 for interference to Sullivan. That's Justin Sullivan, the freshman out of Lavoie, Quebec, 5'11", 165. Tied for the lead, for the team lead in goals. And the Eagles will go to their third man advantage. Haven't had much luck on the first 2. Lost a player to a 5-minute major and a disqualification, and then gave up a shorthanded goal on the second of 2 breakaways on the last one.
Well, that only leaves scoring a goal left. Covered everything else.
That would be the hat trick worth of options.
Covered at everything else.
McMains, who scored the last goal, in the draw, and now they'll throw Kerwin out. So now both players have been thrown out. McMains wins the draw to Rieger. Quick pass to Howe. Howe gives to McMains. McMains fakes a back pass and holds nicely on the half wall right in front of us here in the broadcast center. Rieger goes across to Gazzardi. Gazzardi back to Rieger. Rieger to McMains. Closing in, top of the near circle. Totally whiffed on the shot. Turned it over, and here comes Pattison. Pattison the other way. Gets to the blue line. Checked by Gazzardi. Dumps it in. Rieger will pick it up behind the net as Kerwin overskate, and here come the Eagles again. Good setup there to start the power play. Just a fan by McMains. Here's Gazzardi back in over the line on the left wing. Cruises in, gets to the corner, spins around, holds the puck. Behind the net to Howell. Howell comes over here, goes back to the point again to McMains. McMains has Rieger with the one-timer. He takes the one-timer, and it goes into the netting behind the goal. Something we don't see the Eagles do a lot of on their power play is set up that sort of one-timer they did there. At the midway point of the hockey game, 10 minutes even to go in period number 2. 2-1 Eagles, 1:09 remaining on the man advantage on the penalty to Sullivan. Scotty Swain on the draw against Sajelnik, the sophomore 6'1", 170 out of Moscow, Russia. Face-off won by Sajelnik, rimmed all the way around as this ice is fast for 1 o'clock on a Tuesday. And Kimball will pick it up inside his own zone and give to Kennedy. Aiden Kennedy, team leading scorer with 6 points. Turns it over. Swain helps it out as Lavoie doing a good job of checking. Charles Lavoie, the 6'1", 185 junior out of Chicoutimi, Quebec. Meyer gets to the red line, dumps it in. Eagles now have to forecheck. Bernamini picks it up, rims it all the way down the ice. As a late dump, no one really rushing in to forecheck, gave an easy turnover. Now turned it over. Lavoie sends it toward the net, bouncing puck. Right on. Rebound popped up in the air through the crease area and came out the other side. Did McCall. McCall gets the center. Eagles turn it over again with 15 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Kunin tries to feed it up the wall. Came way out of his crease to do it. And McCall will start behind his own net. Here's McCall with some speed over the line. Leaves for Bolak, who tried to fancy dance around a couple of Falcons. Couldn't do it. Power play over. Eagles 0 for 3 on the man advantage. 8:47 to go in the period. In front, the pass was centered, and Lackus fanned on it and popped it over the net. Eagles turned it over. Bandu tried to go for the wrist shot, turned it over his way, and here comes Bolak. Bolak looking for McCall, too far. Bolak might have been better just to keep skating. He looked for McCall, fed it too far, and Eagles turned it over. They'll dump it back in. Shabbat will play it behind his own net. Everybody going for a line change with 8:15 to go in the second period. Kimball chops down that pass. It still gets into the Eagle zone. Still bouncing, backhand centering pass made by Delinis, but too far, and the Eagles come out the other side with Kimball. Kimball had it chopped off his stick. O'Connell did a good job to get it at the red line. He'll send it in wide to Shabbat. Eagles will change the last couple of players they didn't get to. And out comes Barrasso. Barrasso at center over the line, offsides at the Eagle line with 7:52 to go in the second. Still 2-1, and that was a couple minutes of just sloppy play all the way around, Coach.
Yeah, I think both, not so much post, but Albertus now is starting to squeeze that stick a little tight. You know, you're dominating quite a bit with shots on goal. You're getting these close opportunities, but not quite getting the puck to bounce your way. So you start to get a little frustrated there. I mean, we've seen 3 penalties so far by them.
Gazzardi dumps it into the corner off of Swain's stick. Witt picks it up on the far side for the Falcons. Nice little backhand pass to Levin, but he turned it over. Good job by Gazzardi. Centered it out in front looking for Swain. Swain got a goal stick of Shabbat now behind the net. So Eagles have a little bit of an advantage right now. Kennedy, nice little fancy move, keeps it right on the blue line. We'll dump it into Swain right by that goal stick. Here's Gazzardi. Gazzardi checked by Levin against Shabbat. No goal stick as it's behind the net. Hope fakes the shot, but then a nice play by Lazinski. This kid looks good. Brings it up on left wing. Over the line, takes a shot. Fanned on it. Down with the player. In front, Lazinski with a shot right on. Big save by Kunin, but it rolls in, and they score wait. And he's saying no.
No goal.
I thought that went into the net.
We're going to talk about it. Hard to see from here. Can't see the goal line. Hard to see. It was up in the air. Question, where was that?
The official down low waved it off right away.
Well, they're celebrating the goal, so somebody must have said something.
Lazinski broke in for the second time on left wing, took a shot, stopped by Kunin, and he sent it back. It looked like it bounced off a body. From this angle, and again, I'm far away, I thought it went into the goal.
Looks like a goal. Looks like they're pointing to center ice.
And then it was kind of thrown out of the goal by Kennedy. And the officials have talked it over, and they will call it a goal. And if it is credited to Lazinski, it's a heck of a period for him. It's his second career varsity goal. That'll be at 13:01. As I was saying, Coach, he looks really good, this 6'1", 170 freshman out of Calgary. And it looks like he just scored his second of the game and second of the season.
Yeah, both teams really chaos, benefiting from the other team's chaos. Second goal by Post was a really nice give and go using your teammate, but a lot of it's been like, hey, you'll get goals. It never says nice goal, sloppy goal, never says how it was scored, just it's either on the board or it isn't.
We missed who the assist was on. We'll see if we can pick that up for you or get it for you in intermission. And back the other way they come again with a shot by Dan and just ripped it high and wide. Eagles giving up too many grade A opportunities right here and just being sloppy overall. Puck comes back to center. Here's Capolo. Capolo gives to Coughlin, comes back the other way, gives to Patterson. Patterson with a shot right on. Stopped by Kunin again, chopping out a rebound. And here's Howell. Howell goes high up in the air, turns it over again to Capolo at center, and right back the other way come the Falcons as DeMoro brought it in offsides with 6:06 to go in the second period. 2-2 the score. Right now it's Lazinski's second of the game, second of the season at 13:01. That has tied the game. Puck dumped in around the boards. McMains goes in after it inside the Falcon zone. Keese played it away from him, sent it all the way over here. Rieger chopped it up in the air. Pekka trying to play that chopped puck, dumps it into the corner. Bandu rims it around into the netting. behind goaltender Shabbat.
See what they set up here.
Macau on the draw with Sajelnik. Won by Sajelnik. Keith behind his own net, lost the puck. Gets checked by McMain, sends it up the wall. Pekka keeps it in. Pekka gives to Macau. Macau sends it off to the half wall. McMain's fighting for it, gives to Macau. Macau watched by 3 Falcons as they're picking away at it. McCain's finally jumps back into it. Long shot from the point by O'Connell, just bounces right on. Shabbat will hold with 5:25 to go in the second.
Yeah, Post doing a really good job. If you're watching, right, you got to be impressed with the skill level of the Post forwards to corral pucks, pull them off the wall, and create a little bit of something out of nothing. That's been I think a hallmark of what they are able and capable of doing. It's just a question of consistently executing after that.
Face-off won by the Falcons, sent behind the net, rimmed up the wall, and out by Lacus. Lacus feeds it to Barrasso, takes a return feed, closing in, but a good job by Rieger to stick it off his stick. O'Connell chips it back to Rieger behind the net. The Eagles will try to come out again, and they do. Still 5 minutes to go in the second period. 2-2 now the score. Guzzardi towards the net, looking for a rebound. He got one, but just went through the slot. Glassford with a shot. Meyer with a rebound. Slammed it into Shabbat. That was the first real back-to-back shot opportunities. Other than the first goal, where the Eagles had a shot and a rebound shot and another shot.
And really, Jeff, some of the best opportunities Post is getting is when they go from low to high, with Albertus collapsing around the puck area. They don't have anyone coming back on that strong side to get up into that shooting range.
Falcons win another face-off. Surprising it was only 9-6 in the first. I feel like they've just been dominant on the face-offs here in the second as well. Puck rimmed around back into the Falcon zone, up the glass and out the center, where Glassrud will send it right back in. The Eagles will need to tag up, but Witt will bring it out beforehand, send it up the middle and turn it over to Noble. Noble gets to the red line, dumps it in off the official. It's in the official's pants, and there's a penalty behind the play. I think on Albertus Magnus again for high stick, or maybe it's on Noble. Let's see who this one's on. Oh, it actually is on Albertus Magnus. It's on Demora. So the Eagles go back to the power play for the 4th time today. Looks like just 2 to Demora. Albertus Magnus wondering why Noble's not getting 2. But they're just calling it on Demora at 15:30. Eagles go back to the man advantage for the 4th time. And as good as Albertus Magnus has looked at times, they've also shot themselves in the foot with 3 penalties. 2 in the offensive zone. This one was sort of going into the defensive zone. And now the Eagles go back to the man advantage for the 4th time today.
Yeah, and again, right, how many times can you give your opponent an opportunity?
Eagles looking, however, for that ever-challenging 3rd goal, which, while they've broken through the 1-goal barrier to get the 2, they have struggled to get the 3. Murray and Pattison on the draw, won by Pattison. Capolo trying to spin off the check. Well, that call made absolutely no sense because they said Noble got 2 minutes for high sticking, but there's 5-on-4. So 8 players all fighting right in that.
Half right. You're
half right. Kennedy picks it up at the blue line, tries to spin away from the check of Pattison right in front of us here. Capolo in there as well, right at the half wall. Eagles trying to find a puck. Pattison tries to come away with it, and he does. Gives it to Kerwin. Good play by Rieger to find Kimball, though, and 4-on-2 come the Eagles the other way. Kimball over the line to Murray. Murray gives to Kimball. Kimball on the backhand, stopped by Shabbat, and just rolls through the crease. Swain back to the point to Rieger. Rieger to Murray. Murray, top of the far circle. Back to Kennedy. Kennedy gives to Rieger, closing in. Waits, holds. Still has it. Spins. Top of the far circle is Rieger. Rieger down low to Murray. Murray back to Rieger. Rieger waits. Back to Murray. Too far. Picked it back up. Gives to Rieger. Rieger has Kennedy top of the slot. Doesn't give it there. Shot toward the net. Just missed the corner. Kennedy and Swain play catch on this side. Down low to Kimball, who switches spots with Swain, goes back to Kennedy. Good puck possession by the Eagles. Kimball waits, gives down low. Swain tries to find a hole. He takes a shot toward the net. He gets a rebound. The puck squirts free for a moment. Stopped by Shabbat. And Patterson sends it all the way down. Good puck movement by the Eagles on that power play so far. Just not able to get one in.
Yeah, I don't know if they could recognize Swain on that back door. He was pretty open, kind of directing it. I think they had something specific they were going to try to accomplish. And they just overlooked that piece of it.
Howell dumps it in. Shabbat plays it behind his own net, sends it up the glass. Trying to get over to the far side was Glassroot. He couldn't do it, and the puck goes out the center. McQuegan comes right back in the other side. McQuegan, top of the slot, has slopped off his stick. Good play by Sajelnik, and out of the box comes Sullivan. Gives it back, takes a return feed, takes a shot right on. Stopped by Kunin and kicked into the corner. As the Eagles now 0 for 4 on the man advantage. Back to the point. D to D. Shot taken by Keese. Gets popped up into the air. Goes behind the net. Doesn't hit the roof, so still played on. Eagles try to come away with it. Glassroot gives to McQuegan. Skates to center. Gets to the red line. Dumps it in. Eagles will go for a line change. That's a cross corner dump. And Bolak comes on the ice, chasing down Bandu. Bandu makes a nice pass D to D to Keese. Gets it out the center. Sajelnik takes a return feed over the line. Takes a shot toward the net off the leg of Hope. And a bad angle shot taken in front. It squirts off Kunin. It's free in the crease. Kunin finally covers it, though. And players flying everywhere. Now Bolak and Howell double teaming a Falcon player. Sajelnik down just outside the crease. And everybody looking at the officials to see if there's going to be a penalty. And I think there's going to be one potentially on Bolak with 1:41 remaining in the second period. But let's see. Looks like it's going to be a 4-on-4, actually. As Bolak gets 2. Or was that a 5-on-4 symbol? Looks like an Albertus Magnus power play, actually, Coach, at
Yeah, I don't think they were going to call
18-19.
anything. You know, they let two players from each team kind of go at it, and then 12 jumped in there, and I think that's what got them the penalty.
All of that at 18-19, so Bolak 2 for roughing. And Albertus Magnus on their second power play, though their first one was a 4-minute major. Well, 5-minute major that they had 4 minutes of power play time on. Players flying down as Kerwin went flying down onto the ice. He seems okay. Puck behind the net, squirts around the wall. McCowell cut it off, trying to get it before Keese could. Excuse me, that's Bernamini, 6. Puck now on the half wall, and Kerwin comes away with it. Spindles the net, looking to center. Comes back to Bernamini over here on left point. Goes across the ice, gives to Lavoie, back to Bernamini. Down low to Kindrachuk. They play catch. Bernamini on left point, looking for a lane to shoot the puck. Instead gives it down low to Kerwin. Kerwin, top of the slot to Zane. Takes a return feed, top of the near circles. Toward the net in front, they score. It was tipped in, I believe, by Bernamini, who came down low. The 6'4", 210 senior out of Calgary. Looks like he gets his third goal of the year on a deflection on the Kerwin pass. And at 19:05, the Eagles trail for the first time today. It's 3-2.
Yeah, and Post generally pretty aggressive along that wall, outside that dot area where you want to attack. Just were a little bit passive there, and they let Albertus set up a little too precisely.
Well, Bernamini, his third of the season, the senior from Calgary, Alberta, from Kerwin, his 6th point of the season, and Zane Kindrachuk, his 2nd assist of the season at 19:05 on the power play. So they have a hat trick of goals, power play, shorthanded, and even strength this afternoon. And now they have a 3-2 lead for the first time today with 35 seconds remaining in the second period. Meyer. Long cross-ice pass through too many bodies, looking for Gazzardi. Couldn't get it, chopped away. Coming back in is Barrasso. Barrasso checked off, turned it over. Eagles trying to find the puck. Instead, it's dumped in all the way where Lacus will play it behind the net. Centered it in front, centered it toward the net. Kunin had to make a save with 10 seconds remaining in the second period. How fortunes have turned, and the Eagles need to figure out a way to get that ever elusive third goal. just to tie this game up. 10 seconds remaining in the second period. Don't forget to stay with us in the second period. Second period intermission will go around the NE10. Get you updated as to where we are there. A full slate of games today in the NE10. Everybody playing somebody on the NE10 schedule. That'll be in the second period intermission. Face off to Ben's left. Murray lost it. Shot from the slot. Taken right on. Actually more top of the circle by Pattison. Off the face-off win. Spindling behind the net. Looking for Keith. Keith had to roll off a stick. The period will end. And that is 2 periods of play here as no more silly action in the scrum. Albertus Magnus leads 3-2, Coach. 3 goals by them in the period. And again, a second really dominant period by Albertus Magnus. And if they just didn't take 3 bad penalties, who knows where this game could be.
Yeah, and I think, as far as pure goals, if you will, right, Albertus has one on the power play. Nice setup, nice tip for a goal. And then the second post goal, McMain's from McGuigan there. Nice little pass, nice little give and go. Other than that, it's kind of what I call a lunch pail game, right? Like whoever's going to grind this out and come to work is going to, in this third period, is going to come out on top of this game.
So 15 minutes of intermission and 20 more minutes of hockey. The Eagles will need to find a way to get at least one to tie this game up against their non-conference intrastate rival as they seem to play each other every year, at least once. So Eagles will need to figure out a way to get one just to get this game tied. But that'll be after our second period intermission. So we'll come back in 2 minutes with Albertus Magnus leading 3-2. You're listening and watching the Post University Sports on the Post University Sports Network. Second period intermission here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, where the Eagles trail the Falcons 3-2 after a 3-goal second period by Albertus Magnus. We'll cover all that at the end of the intermission, but our second period intermission is where we go around the NE10 sports scene as we usually do. And that's brought to you by Post University, who wants you to ask yourself, are you a Post person? Post makes it personal with fast, flexible, and affordable programs that are designed to help you achieve your goals no matter where you are in your academic journey. Post offers online, hybrid, and on-campus degree programs to meet your needs. For more information on all of Post degree programs, to visit campus, take a tour, or to apply, go to post.edu. That's post.edu. Around the NE10 we go. We'll first start with the standings, where Franklin Pierce leads the way with 15 points, 5-3-0 in conference. St. Mike's has 14 points, 4-2-2 in conference. Assumption 13 points, 4-2-1 in conference. St. A's 10 points, 3-3-1 in conference. And Southern New Hampshire 2-5-1 in conference overall, as well as your Eagles 2-5-1 in conference overall. So lots of opportunities for the Eagles to get back into the race, and they'll really start that in earnest a week from today when they host Assumption, as the NE10 season will get back underway for the Eagles starting on Tuesday against Assumption. Upcoming schedule for the Eagles: Friday night they will be at Westfield State. Didn't want to mix them up because it can be a little confusing. Friday they will be at Westfield State at the 1:30 tip-off, puck drop rather, an away game at Westfield State. Then they'll return home Saturday for senior night, 8 p.m. here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. If you ever want to come out for a hockey game and you haven't before, come on out on Saturday night, 8 o'clock here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. The Eagles will take on Worcester State on senior night. A little early for senior night this year, but they're going to do it on the 10th, which is Saturday, 8 p.m. here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Can't be here in person. Join us on the Post University Sports Network. That'll be an 8 p.m. puck drop on Saturday, and then the Eagles return home again on Tuesday, 1 p.m. to play aforementioned Assumption for a 4-game road trip, which will include stops at St. A's, Assumption, and the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts. Eagles have 10 games in 25 days, this being the first of those 10, with plenty of conference games in there and opportunities for the Eagles to get right back into the NE10 conference race. It's still wide open. You just have to get your wins. And the Eagles need to start today. Again, having broken the 2-goal barrier, still need a goal to tie, but the Eagles looking to get back into the NE10 conference breakdown. Let's give you the upcoming schedule in the NE10 as well, because it's a very busy time in this sort of school time. A couple of games from Saturday. St. Mike's defeated Riviere 6-2. Connecticut College over Southern New Hampshire 6-4. Game from Sunday, Southern New Hampshire 6, SUNY Potsdam 2. Games today, St. A's is at Colby. That's 4 p.m. at the Jack Kelly Ring. St. Mike's is at Wesleyan here in Connecticut. They'll play in Middletown at 4 p.m. Framingham State is at Assumption, 7:20. Franklin Pierce is at the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts. That's at 7:30. Friday, as we mentioned, Post at Westfield State. Franklin Pierce will be at Worcester State. Salve Regina at St. Mike's. Riviere at Southern New Hampshire. Assumption at the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts on Friday. And then on Saturday, Assumption against St. A's as they start conference play again. Salve Regina at St. Mike's again. Worcester State at Post, as we mentioned, 8 o'clock for senior night. And Franklin Pierce at Framingham State at 8:50 p.m. Round out the weekend schedule. That's your look around the NE10 conference. Again, everybody gets started back in earnest really today. A couple of games over the weekend, but everybody starts up again now as the race to the playoffs begin here in the NE10. That's your look around the post-university NE10 conference as the Eagles look to get back into the race here this afternoon. I'm Jeff Nelson. We'll come back in 2 minutes with a recap of the second period as everybody's feeling it here in the new year. You're listening and watching the post-university hockey on the NE10 Now Network, youtube.com/Go Post Eagles, and the CACC Network. Okay. Second period intermission here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Jeff Nelson and Coach Pete Whitney with you this afternoon. 3-2, Albertus Magnus leads a 3-goal second period for them. Started off on a shorthanded goal by Sam Lazinski, who the Eagles determined wanted to see how he played in the shootout because they gave him one breakaway that he missed and then gave him a second one right after. That one he didn't as he shot it over the left shoulder of Ben Kunin for his first varsity goal at 4:23 shorthanded. Eagles came right back, though, made it 2-1. Bradley McMains took a nice give and go from Hugh McQuegan and deposited a goal on a nice little forehand-backhand number. It went back to the forehand, and that's at 5:11 for his second of the year from McQuegan and Howell, each picking up their second assist of the game to make it 2-1. But Albertus Magnus kept pushing, and Lazinski again sent it off an Eagle leg, just crossing over the goal line. Some controversy as to whether he did, but goal counted as they pointed to center ice. So Lazinski, his second goal of the period, second varsity goal, and second of the season. Give the assist to Sam Witt, senior out of Calgary, Alberta, and Zane Kindrachuk at 13:01. Then a late period penalty results in a goal for Albertus Magnus on the power play as Connor Bertamini had a nice deflection on a shot pass from Bailey Kerwin. And it gets passed by Ben in 19:05. Give the second assist to Zane Kindrachuk on the power play, and that's where we stand after 40 minutes. Albertus Magnus 3, Eagles 2 shots on goal. Albertus Magnus 14, two-period total of 30. Post 12, two-period total of 19. Face-offs 12-8 for Albertus Magnus in that period, 21-14 overall. So the coach's stats really do tell the story. For a lot of the game, the stats were saying Albertus Magnus is doing really, really well, but weren't getting any goals for it. And now we're after 40 minutes, and they lead 3-2, and the stats say they should be winning.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is going to end up being, again, we always talk about I got to win the third period, but obviously in this case here, the way this game has gone today, like I said, it's going to be whoever kind of slugs it out in the dirty area and is able to find that puck and just shove the thing home, and that'll be a difference maker. I mean, I think that's just seems like these teams are close enough in talent where it's difficult to get those grade A's off the rush. Good goaltending on both ends, so it's difficult to find that rebound because they're generally doing a good job of not leaving it out there too much. So I think who's ever going to, like I said, get that lunch pail, put on the hard hat, and get into those dirty areas is going to be a difference maker.
Teams take the ice for the start of the third period. Again, Eagles, this is where that goal scoring really comes in. Albertus Magnus averaging over 3 goals again. Eagles averaging under 2. But the Eagles are at 2, so they have beaten their average. But they need to get a couple goals here for their goaltender who, has really done yeoman's work. Not much you can do on 2 of the 3 goals that went by him. And the Eagles need to get him a couple of goals, and maybe they can get out of here with a victory. As we mentioned, this is game 1 of 10 in 25 days for the Eagles, so they're going to be playing every couple of days, on average. It's not how the schedule is going to break out, but they're going to play every couple of days on average. And they need to start here with a win. They've lost Joe Santoro to a game misconduct early in the first period, so they've been down a man all game. See if they can come back and get a win here this afternoon. Albertus Magnus in the road dark blues, those nice new uniforms with the white letters going left to right. Eagles going right to left with the purple lettering as we start the third period. A little extra music here. Here's Kerwin, slot, Keese, shot, toward the net, deflected right on, rebound, gets poked away by Kunin as he had to make an early save right here in the third period, to keep this a 1-goal game. Kindrachuk had a bounce off the stick. Lozinski, who has 2 goals in the game, his first 2 varsity goals, had it bounce off his stick, brought into the zone, turned over, and here's Gazzardi. Gazzardi gets to the red line, has some speed, keeps going on right wing, spins away, looks to center it to Murray, had it bounce off a leg. Rieger cruising in, trying to keep it in. He did pop it up in the air. Nice play by Gazzardi, looking to spin with it. Leaves for Kimball, who had a shot from the middle of the circles and shot it wide. He had a corner, just missed it. Murray gives it down to Kimball. Kimball spins away from the check, goes behind the net, comes over here to the near side where Hawkins has it. Hawkins, he spins away from the check, gives to Murray. Good cycling by the Eagles. Kimball looking in front, tries to find somebody. He did. It's Rieger in front with a shot and gets blocked. Never got to Shabbat. Played into the far side corner. Keese tries to get it out. Good early shift by the Eagles. Just couldn't get one by Shabbat. Red line and in for Rieger, right on goal. Stopped by Shabbat's stick. Left for his defenseman Bandu. Bandu. Eagles make a full line change. Bring on McQuegan, Bolak, and Howell, who to some extent have been the Eagles' best line this afternoon. Bandu ahead. Turned it over to Dan. Gives to Howell. Looking for McQuegan. Too far. And played up at center. Glassrud turned it over, gave it to Pattison. Pattison dumped it in. Bolak goes to get it. Bolak tried to chip it up the wall. Pattison blocked it. Glassrud comes over here. The Eagle captain tries to play it up the wall. He turns it over. Spins away. Pattison behind his head. In front for a wide open shot by Coughlin, and Ben makes his 2 best saves of the game on a 10-foot slap shot by Pattison on a beautiful centering pass. He had 2 opportunities at it, and Ben keeps this game 3-2. McQuegan comes up with a shot toward the net. Shabbat rebound toward the net again, blocked in front. Shabbat made the first save. Second shot was blocked. Back to Noble on right point. He'll dump it in. Goes to flex off the corner. Kept to Howell, and they're going to say offsides, and that didn't look offsides from here, but I'm not on the line. And those linemen are pretty good.
Yeah, can't see it from my house.
2:29 gone in the third period. Both teams with some opportunities, but Ben, huge save right down here, close bottom of the circle. Pattison wide open for Coughlin wide open for 2 bangs, and Ben with 2 big saves.
Yeah, up to the challenge like he's been last 2 years. Up to the challenge every time.
Long dump off Sullivan's leg, goes wide. I'll call it icing. I'll say one didn't hit Sullivan, so an icing. So we killed 7 seconds of game time. Swain wants to face off to Shabbat's right. That seems to be where it's going to be. Swain on the draw. He moved from left wing to center with the ejection of Joe Santoro. So he's playing center. Wins that faceoff clean back to Kennedy, but too clean as it goes out to center. Meyer at the red line. He'll dump it in around the boards. Stopped by Shabbat behind the net. Leads for Witt. Witt chipped it up the wall. Kennedy does a good job to keep it in momentarily, but back comes Albertus Magnus in a 3-man wave. Demora dumps it in around looking for Lavoie. He finds him on the other side, but then Lavoie tried to turn it over. He got it away and then given down low. Backhand behind the back. Fancy play as he tried to go through the legs. Did Sejelnik, but a good save by Kunin. You don't see that attempt very often, but when you do, it's pretty. But Ben made the save there, so still 3-2. Sullivan offside as he returned it.
No, I think it was the Czechs in the World Juniors I saw do that in regulation play.
I haven't seen it successfully in a game since Matt Barzell did it a couple of years ago, but he tried. Got to give him credit for trying.
Absolutely.
Especially on a goaltender like Ben, you're trying to find holes where you can.
Yeah, they're going to have to be creative in how they score. Right, that just point blank, rare that's going to be the one that gets through.
But Kunin making another set of saves. McMains brings it in over the line, dumps it. Mateo Pekka down there trying to find it. Barrasso turned it over to O'Connell, who took a shot that goes off the leg of McMains. They'll try again. Barrasso dumps it all the way down. And O'Connell, with man on chasing, turns it around to Pekka. Pekka shot it off a leg, but got it out to center. Sent it right back in. Pekka leaves it behind his own net for Macau. 4 minutes gone in the third. 3-2 Albertus Magnus. O'Connell to Pekka. Pekka tries to get it out. Good job by Bernamini to keep it in. He gets the puck again. Bernamini spins it back to the corner. Given to Dedinis. Spins it around to Barrasso. Barrasso checked by Rieger. Comes away with it, though. That 6'5 frame centered it out in front of Kerwin. But a good job by the Eagles to take it away. Here's Pekka. Gets to the red line. Gets to the blue. Dumps it in with a fancy bounce right on. Stopped by Shabbat. Macau couldn't find a rebound, and back comes Kerwin the other way. Kerwin over the line. 1-on-3. Waits. Has Lazinski cruising. Looking for him in the slot. Couldn't find it. Turned it over. And now Kimball in front of us sends it out to center with a nice pass taken by Murray. Murray trying to leave it for the racing Hawkins, but taken back by Albertus Magnus and dumped back in. Glassford behind his own net gives to Murray. Murray looking for Noble, sends it up the wall to the half wall area. Kindrachuk there, lost it. Out comes Noble. Back in the other way on a 2-on-1 is Kerwin to Kindrachuk right on. Stopped by Kunin again. As Kindrachuk one-timed it from between the circles, and Kunin read it well and made another great save.
Yeah, I'm going to say he read that like a cheap novel. You could see that coming across. Great position, push out, perfect. Textbook save.
What cheap novels you been reading, Coach?
Lately?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm reading a great book about the 1980 Olympic team.
But that's not a cheap novel. That's a good, solid book.
I just said it wasn't. It was free, so in
well,
that
then
sense,
that's a cheap novel. That's right.
It wasn't expensive.
There you go.
Nice Christmas gift, though.
Yeah, excellent. Puck sent in around the boards. Kennedy checked off by Dan. Leaves for Hope. Coughlin tried to take it away. Dan picks it up in the corner. Dan sends it back behind the net. Coughlin chasing after it. So does Hope. Hope will win the race for it as there's some confusion about who on Albertus Magnus was going to play it, and they turned it over. Howell gets it to the red line, dumps it in on a cross dump. McQuegan sends it toward the net looking for Howell's deflection. Howell went flying through the crease. So did the puck. And back comes Albertus Magnus the other way. Keese over the line on a 3-man wave on a backhand stop by Kunin right on. Rebound toward the net, sticked away by Kunin. Howell popped it up in the air and got it to center. 6 minutes gone here in period number 3. 3-2 Albertus Magnus. Here at the Sports Center of Connecticut, Jeff Nelson, Pete Whitney, the coach, here with you this afternoon. Rieger behind his own net, Chipped it up the wall nicely to Gazzardi. If he can pick it up, he's got some speed and some space. Gazzardi does. Up on left wing, had to roll off his stick, though, as he tried to make his move towards center. Then a dump pass dangerously through the slot. Picked up by the Eagles outside the blue line. Gazzardi, using his speed, tried to dump it in. Didn't get it deep, though. Turned over. Demora then turns it over at the blue line, but they'll say offsides, as it must have just crossed over the blue line with 6:32 gone in the third. 3-2 Albertus Magnus.
You see both teams trying to push the pace over here, but so far each team up to the task of negating that.
Don't forget to join us on Saturday, 7:40-ish actually will be pregame, as it's senior night here at the Sports Center of Connecticut for the men's hockey team, doing it a little earlier this year. Puck drop at 8 o'clock as they'll host Worcester State on Saturday here at the Sports Center of Connecticut. Can't be here, join us on the Sports University, Post-University Sports Network. 7:40 pregame, 8 o'clock puck drop. Sajelnik into the zone. Falls down along with one of the Eagles. That was Meyer. Turned the puck over, and then a high pop into the air taken by Swain. Swain closing in with a short side shot. Rebound to Meyer. Higher in the slot. Couldn't get a shot on as it was blocked. And then a pass back the other way comes Sullivan. Sullivan, nice sweep check by Noble, but takes a return pass behind the net. Sajelnik, he of the fancy move of a moment ago. Nice play on the puck, fakes his slap shot, gives it over here for a play to Sullivan. Sullivan then tries the same play. Might have been more of a pass from him than a shot, but tried the same play between his legs, and it rolls wide. Sullivan sends it all the way around the boards here to Bernamini. Bernamini sends it back to Sullivan behind the net. Glassrud on the ice looking to check him away. Then turnover, and Meyer chops it out to center, and the Eagles should be able to get a line change for their forward unit. And at least 2 of the 3 got off. Offsides are the Falcons as they tried to come back in. With 7:55 gone in the third, still 3-2.
Yeah, you can carry the puck in backwards over the blue line, but you have to have actual possession to do that. And he was over the line before he had true possession.
Eagles trying to grind their way to a tying goal. 12:05 left in the third to do it. Levin sends it up the wall all the way down, no icing. Kennedy with some time goes behind his back to Hope. Hope to McMains. Long cross-ice pass to Pekka. Little bit too far. Pekka checked off the puck. McCall comes away with it, looking for Hope on the other side. He'll have to chase it in his own zone. Long pass. This will be an icing. Coach, Eagles trying to do a little too much. Like they're trying to feed cross ice through too many bodies instead of making a simple play.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. Post has got a really good D-zone setup. They've been very good when they get possession of breaking it out. Now they're starting to run around like you're saying. They're starting to squeeze. They're starting to squeeze the stick a little tight, trying to make a play that isn't there. You got to read what's there, and it's either there or it's not. You're not going to wish it.
Hope behind his own net, checked by Barrasso. In the help is McCall, but Barrasso in that 6'5" frame comes out with it. Sends it around the boards behind the net, looking for Keese, who's pinching in. Good check by Pekka. Right here in the Zamboni corner, Barrasso comes away with it. Looking to center in front, he did, but nobody was there except McMains. McMains gets it out to center. Pekka does a good job to chop it forward. They'll go off on a line change. As back come the Falcons the other way, here's Bandu. Bandu carries it in over the line, looking to get around Hope. He does, goes around the net, tried to stuff it in, but Ben got his pad over there. Read that play again, and Rieger has the puck. Rieger spins away from the aggressive check of Barrasso, up to Hope. Hope gets to the red line, dumps it in, gloved by Shabbat. With 10:49 to go in the third. Hard to get pucks by Kunin. I mean, 3-2, you sort of tip your hat at this point that they got 3. But Ben, 4 or 5 major saves here in the third period to keep it 3-2.
Yeah, and you can see that they talked about it between periods because their attack is much different as far as odd angle shots, wraparounds. You know, the Tip was very successful on the power play. I've seen them try to execute it and execute it at least once. So they're trying some different things, and that's what you have to do. That's your only chance to try to get a puck by this guy.
Hawkins brought it in offside, so a face-off just outside the Falcon zone. 10:33 to go in the third. Eagles at Westfield State on Friday, 1:30. Home on Saturday, Worcester State for senior night, 8 p.m. A puck drop, 7:40 pregame on the Post University Sports Network. Going to kick Swain out of the faceoff dot for Gazzardi. Eagles playing a forward down since 2:49 into the first period when Joe Santoro was ejected for a hit to the head. 5-minute major and a 10-minute and a game misconduct. So Eagles have been playing a forward down all game. Trail 3-2. Looking for the tying goal. Here's Swain. Checked off by Pattison, but good play by Meyer to keep it going. He takes a hit for his efforts, but dumps it in. And a penalty behind the play for slashing, I believe. Looks like the Pattison. I'm going to call holding, actually. 9:49. And the Eagles to their 5th man advantage. Last one looked better, but they haven't been able to get a goal yet. 0 for 4. And have given up a shorthanded goal. So Pattison 2 for holding at 9:49.
No, but again, we talked about you cannot keep going to the well, letting your opponent go to the well.
Howell, McQuegan, McMains, Gazzardi, and Rieger, the Eagle 5. Rieger on right point, has some space. Feeds it over to Gazzardi, top of the near circle. Down low with a spin around shot. One bang by Howell, stopped by Shabbat. McQuegan tries to come away with it. He does, looking to send it up the wall. But good chop checking there, kept in nicely by Rieger. Feeds it to McCall. Excuse me, that's McMains. Gives to Rieger, looking for a lane. Gives to McMains. McMains back to Rieger. One-timer toward the net, stopped by Shabbat. Right on. McMains on the half wall to Howell. On right point. Howell over here for Gazzardi. Gazzardi waits. Back to the point to Rieger. Rieger again looking for a lane. Finds a lane toward the net in front. Puck bouncing on the Shabbat save. But a nice play there by the Falcons to rim it around the wall and out of play. Better looking, again, face-off coach, 9:24 to go in the third.
Yeah, again, really good puck movement. They're not allowing Albertus to get that first player to make a meaningful attack, and that's what they have to do. And then they're getting shots through. They're trying to put a big body in front, take the eyes away from the goaltender, and just a good basic power play.
Swain on the draw here with Kerwin. Won by Kerwin, but they blown dead by the officials, so see if they boot Kerwin out. And they will, so it'll be Lazinski taking the draw. They just have to fix the clock now. So Lazinski and Swain on the draw. One clean by Swain to Kennedy. Kennedy brings it over here to Meyer. Meyer with some space. Gives to Kennedy. One-timer toward the net. Rebound later. Eagles banging out of the puck still loose and finally covered by Shabbat.
Yeah, Post has just got to continue to do that because right now Albertus is not coming out to try to block that shot. They're letting that puck get in to that crowd in front, which is dangerous because that's where you're outnumbered.
Murray lost that draw, whipped behind the net, turned it over to Swain, who sends it up the wall back to Kennedy. Kennedy and Meyer on the point. Kennedy on right point, gives to Meyer over here for a one-timer and missed the net. All the way around to Kimball, who keeps it in, top of the far circle. Plays catch with Kennedy. Holds, back to Kimball. Down low, looking for a lane was Swain, couldn't find one, now gives it back to Kimball. Kimball to Meyer. Takes it on the backhand, goes to the forehand, sends it toward the net, deflected and gloved by Shabbat. With 37 seconds to go in the fifth Eagle power play, 8:48 to go in the third. Still 3-2 Falcons.
Yeah, really a good job by Post so far on this power play as far as they're moving pucks, crisp passes, good connection, getting some opportunities. That's what you need.
Lacus and Howell on the draw, won by Lacus, but the Eagles fighting for the puck on the half wall. 4 Eagles over there. Squirts free behind the net. Gazzardi down there with McQuegan trying to play it. Howell has it sent out of play, and the faceoff still deep inside the Falcon zone.
Yeah, these are where those draws are just so important for both teams.
Howell and Lacus once again, won by Lacus a second straight time. Turnaround set kept in by Rieger. Rieger kept it with the glove, then checked off by his own man by accident as McQuegan got in his way, and the puck turned over and sent all the way down into the Eagle zone. 15 seconds remaining on the fifth Eagle power play. 0 for 4 are they. Lacus comes away with it, looking to center it in front. Had it checked off by Rieger. They're just going to kill off the last 8 seconds or so. One last rush for McQuegan as he picked it up on right wing. Dumps it in, chases after it. Power play over. Eagles 0 for 5. Shabbat sends it up the wall to McMains, who sends it toward the net. There's going to be a penalty, though, on McQuegan, it looks like, with 8:07 remaining in the third. Albertus Magnus not particularly happy as they're pushing at Howell, trying to get at Howell. They seem more angry with McQuegan, who is going to take 2 minutes for. So McQuegan not happy about it. They're going to give him interference, so 2 minutes for interference at 11:53.
Yeah, I think he felt like on the way in he was interfered with, and they kind of let that go. So I think he got frustrated with the call on that is why. But again, this is where, right, you got to play as under control as possible, right? Win all your battles with your feet, not your sticks. Winning with your head, not your heart.
Puck kept in nicely by Levin. They tried to center, did Lavoie, and turned it over and sent back out the center. Lazinski, he of 2 goals, gives it up to Kerwin. 2-on-1 with Kindrachuk. Good back check, though, by Macau. Is in the goal. He's got to get out, but the referee blows it dead. I think the post is off the mooring.
Yep.
Well, we don't really have moorings on these goals here, correct?
No, we don't. The marsh pegs would be nice. It would be nice.
18 seconds of that penalty kill gone. 3-2 Albertus Magnus. 7:49 to go in the third. Bertamini gives to Lavoie. Lavoie back to Levin. Back to Bertamini. Over here for Lazinski. Lazinski across the ice to Levin, looking for Lavoie. Gives to Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk gives to Kerwin. Kerwin tries to get up the wall. Nice job by the Eagles and send all the way down the ice as McCall found it and ripped it down. Shabbat.
And that's the difference there, Jeff. You see that little stumble with that pass, right, by Albertus gave Post the opportunity to attack. That's something Post was not able to do in a good way. They controlled the puck. They made good passes on their power play. Didn't have anything to show for it other than really some good opportunities, but they handled the puck and moved well. It's still kind of bouncing around there a bit for Albertus. They're not really able to set it, make those quick tape-to-tape passes that you need to make to get yourself set.
Bertamini, he of the power play goal in the second. On the half wall, back to the point to Lavoie. Lavoie goes to Bandu, takes a return feed off the stick of Kimball and out the center. 6:35 to go in the third, 30 seconds remaining on the third power play of the game for Albertus Magnus. They send it around the dasher. Popped up in the air. Bandu kept it in, and now the Eagles race out. 2-on-1 possible. Murray gives to Rieger over the line. He's still got Murray coming toward the net with a shot that's blocked by the diving Keese. And back the other way, 1-on-1 comes Sullivan. Sullivan trying to get along Glassrue, but that 6-7 frame just tips the puck away. Power play is going to be over now, so 1 for 3 on the man advantage are Albertus Magnus. 6 minutes to go, 3-2. Albertus Magnus Eagles trying to find a way to get the tire. Sullivan, near side, on the goal line, tried to center it in front, turned it over to Howell. Howell gets to the red line, tries to dump it in. They're going to call that, nope, no icing because Shabbat came out to play it. Eagles now deep forechecking. Puck bounces away and back to center. Glassrue, long shot into the netting from center.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Albertus is rushing the puck as much as they are. Right, with a 1-goal lead, now that you're getting around that 5-minute mark, you want to possess the puck, make plays behind the net. Don't force anything to the front. Several times they've been trying to force it to the front, and that's actually been to Post's favor, again, because they play so well in the defensive zone. Just get that puck, take it, and move it right out.
Howell lost that draw, dumped into Demora. Demora has to go chase after it. Witt beats a dangerous pass up the middle. It bounced off the stick of Dan and dumped back into Witt. Witt on the backhand up the middle finds a player, and it's brought in by Coughlin. Coughlin looking for Pattison offsides. Howell let Coughlin finish this check, rather. Coughlin not happy about it with 5:25 to go in the third.
Yeah, I think both teams feeling a little bit different kind of pressure, right? Albertus trying to hold on and forcing the puck a little bit when it's down low, and then Post feeling the pressure of we got to get one here.
O'Connell turned it over, sent right back in by Albertus Magnus. Then a tackle job by Swain, who's wrestling at center ice. Doesn't appear to be any penalties, as Demora and Swain went a little WWE right in front of the penalty box area. This should be an icing. They say no, and O'Connell will play it behind his own net with 5. Gives to Meyer, goes back to Swain. Swain looking to get out of his zone with Dan all over him. He's using that speed, though, to get around him, and he keeps going. Then taken down on a big hit as Swain was leveled. It is gotten back up as Demora attempts to continue the wrestling match. Here's Kennedy. Over the line, makes a fancy move toward the net, takes a shot that goes wide. Gazzardi looking for a rebound. Comes off the far side, chipped up the wall. Hope pinches in, keeps it in nicely, but then it's squirted out to center by Pattison. Everybody goes for a change. Puck behind the net to Witt. Witt, long pass, looking for a stick. That should be an icing, and it will be. No! They call it off because Hope didn't go after it hard enough. So they blew off the icing. Though I would argue Hope got to the circle. That's where they should have blown it. Barrasso comes away with it. Spins with it. Top of the slot. Near side circle. Toward the net. Centering pass. Turnover. Eagles come away with it. McQuegan turned it over inside the zone. Good body check. Takes down the streaking Lavoie. And then the puck goes back out to center. Hope behind his own net with 3:35 to go in the third. Spins away from one check. Gives to Howell. Long pass off the body of McMahons. I don't think that's who Howell was looking for. McMahons gets to the red line, gives to Kimball. Kimball dumps it in. Howell taken down. That should have been a call as he was ripped down as he was skating for it. Let's see if they call icing here. And they do. 3:20 to go in the third. I get the point of blowing of waving off the icing, but Hope beat him to the circle. Well, that's where the whistle's supposed to go.
Right. If it's a race to the dot, the race is already over at that point.
If it was a race to the puck, then you wave it off.
Right.
I agree, Hope didn't really go after it, but he beat him to the circle. Either way, but that just killed another 45 seconds of time for the Eagles. Puck sent high off the glass down, and now racing after it with speed is Dennis. He comes in looking on a breakaway, and another big save by Ben Kunin. Turnover, rebound shot toward the net. Kindrachuk in front. A helmet goes flying.
That's off.
There's also a player with a helmet down as well. Looking for blood. I don't think there's going to be any penalties here. Though Delinis is not happy. He's checking for blood, looking for his helmet. I actually didn't see the hit on him because Ben was making save after save down here.
I think Ben took one of those right off the helmet, too. One of those saves, I think.
Let's hope Delinis is okay. He looks able to skate off on his own power. 3:06 to go in the third, still 3-2. If the Eagles can somehow manage to get a tie or a win here, they should take Ben out for a steak dinner.
For a week.
Turned over in the slot, shot toward the net. Stick goes flying. It's in the goal. Whose stick is it? It's O'Connell's. Back to the left point shot taken toward the net by Bandu. Then a slow backhand by Lazinski, covered by Kunin. 2:53 to go in the third. Face off to Ben's left. Pattison, Dan, and Coughlin on for Albertus Magnus, McCowell, Pekka, and Bolak, the three forwards for the Eagles. One again by Albertus Magnus to the point. Long shot taken by Witt goes wide. spins all the way over here. Dan keeps it in. Sends it to the corner. Pattison lets it go for Coughlin. Coughlin checked by Hope. Pattison tries to come out the other side with it. Can't get there now. A three-man scrum behind the net. Pattison still fighting for it. Coughlin, though, comes away with it. Coughlin looking to go back to the points and spindles it back behind the net where Pattison will go back to work. He chips it nicely to Dan. Dan, all alone in the near side corner, goes back to the point to Demora. Demora, long shot high and wide. Comes out the other side. Bolak. Bolak trying to find the puck. Pattison fighting hard for it. Still fighting in that corner. A five-man scrum. And finally, Bolak comes out with it with 2:12 to go in regulation time. Pekka looking for a puck that pops up in the air. Turned it over, did Shabbat. Pekka had it, but he's 1-on-4 down low as everybody went for a line change. Hope and Pattison fighting behind the play. Pekka tried to come out with it. Turned it over to Coughlin. Coughlin sends it up to Pattison. Now he's 1-on-1 with Glassroot. He'll go off for a line change. And Glassroot will play it behind his own net with 1:45 to go in the third. Meyer with some speed gets the center over the line. Goalie pulled. Bend to the bench. 90 seconds remain in regulation time. Eagles with the extra attacker. Puck sent all the way down the ice. That should be icing, but they have to race for it. It's going to be close enough. And that time they called it at the circles.
Yeah, big draw coming up right here.
92 seconds to go in regulation time, Coach. 3-2, Albertus Magnus.
Yeah, you want to look at your stats and see who's your best face-off man through these 2 and 99% periods, and got to get them out there.
Timeout, Eagles. Probably to set up a play with the face-off deep. Sometimes you question if you call that a little too early in that situation. Maybe you save it for like 50 seconds. But calling it now, setting up a play is what the Eagles need to do. They'll have 6 attackers, 92 seconds to get the tying goal. No goals in this third period so far. The last goal is the leader, which is Connor Bernamini. His third of the year was on the power play in 1905. That's right now the lead goal. Eagles are going to try to find the tie and get that ever-elusive third goal as well.
Yeah, and this, again, this draw, their setup here, super important that, again, you talk about, yes, you want to win a draw, but this is a situation where you just don't want to lose a draw. Tie up if you're not able to win it, make it a 50-50, try to come out on top of that because you got the extra man. Just don't lose a draw clean in this situation.
Glassrood, Gazzardi, Rieger, Howell, McQuegan, and McMains. Are you surprised they're not going Kennedy and Rieger here?
Nothing surprises me.
All right. Rieger keeps it in on right point. Holds, waits, sends it towards the net. Shabbat gloves it with the left hand. Bit of a screen in front. Looks like Glasser's playing down low.
Yeah, it looks like
6'7" screener.
Yep, they want that big body down there, and
again, one of the Eagles' struggles all day has been that face-off dot. They didn't win that face-off either, and the puck sent all the way down. No icing as Rieger will play it in his own zone with 75 seconds to go in the third period. 3-2, Albertus Magnus. Rieger gets to the red line, gives a nice pass ahead to Howell, kicks it to his stick, brings it in, looks for a backhand. It goes wide, but makes the play to McMains, who takes a shot up. Then Glassroot has an opportunity 5 feet out, blocked in front, and then the puck sent all the way down. Chasing after it is Lazinski, who chops the stick. That's going to be a penalty for slashing, so the Eagles will go 6-on-4 as Lazinski chopped the stick out of his hands.
So here's where the faceoffs are going to come into play, right? Because obviously you don't want to be 6-on-4. However, it gives you the opportunity now to just ice the puck. So if you can win draws, you have that opportunity to ice the puck, go for the net. You're not going to get a whistle.
1908, the time of the penalty to Lazinski for slashing. Eagles 0 for 5 on the man advantage, and oh boy, could they use one now. Clock didn't move, so.
No, I think it was he didn't like his drop.
Howell and both of them. Threw them both out. No, just threw Howell out.
Just Howell out.
So
okay.
McMains on the draw with Stajelnik. Eagles have to get a face-off win, though, and now they throw him out. Don't want to talk too much. Last thing you want if you're Albertus Magnus is a 6-on-3. Eagles will get to the puck. Down goes Howell. They're not going to call that, though. A 6-man scrum in that corner. McMains does a good job to hold it. 6-on-4 of the Eagles. Here's Rieger. Rieger gives to McMains. Closes in with a shot. Rebound left there for Gazzardi. He couldn't find it. Rieger brings it down low to the half wall. Holds and waits with 30. Sends it across the slot. Dangerous pass. McMains comes out the other side with it. McMains back to Howell through his legs. As Eagles confused as who was taking it. Now Gazzardi with 20. One last rush really here. Howell goes off of Rieger, gives to McMains. McMains over the line looking for McQuegan too far. McQuegan's got to send it toward the net. He does. It's going to go out the zone, though. As Murray will have with 7. Everybody's got to get out. Long shot from the point. It's going to be too late. Eagles tag up behind the net. Albertus Magnus will hold it, and that'll be the game. Albertus Magnus takes this one 3-2. They'll move to 7-5 on the season. Eagles fall to 3-8-1 non-conference game, so no effect on the NE10 standings. But frustration for the Eagles, who had a 1-0 lead after one and a 2-1 lead in the second period, but 2 late goals in the second period. One by Lazinski, who's probably our number 1 star, I would think, Coach, and one by Bertaminas, the game winner, 19:05 on the power play. A tough overall game for the Eagles today, but maybe you learn some lessons here in the non-conference, and now 2 more non-conference games Friday and Saturday, senior night on Saturday, before they start NE10 play again a week from today. Coach, 3 stars for this afternoon's game.
Yeah, my first star, as you alluded to, freshman Sam Lazinski for Albertus. My second star, again, doing what he does every single game. I mean, this could have easily been a 7-3 hockey game. Ben Canine just standing on his head, making the saves, gets the second star. And then third star with the game-winning goal, Connor Bertamini.
Bertamini, the third star, Ben Canine, the second star, and Sam Lazinski, the first star with 2 goals today. And outside of his slash there with 51 seconds to go in the third, I thought he played an excellent game, just top to bottom. I'm very impressed with him overall, so probably somebody we'll be seeing over the next couple of years here in these battle games. I guess the one takeaway, Coach, is, the Eagles did break that, they got the 2 goals, which they hadn't really done a whole heck of a lot of. But, again, it's they had shots today, but not as many as they had in some other games. I don't think they got to the 29 they needed to keep on their average. But, again, they're just lacking the ability to put the puck in the net. So what's the centimeter difference between save by goalie and goal in net?
Well, again, one of the things that I did see that I did like, I thought Albertus did a really great job trying to change how they were going to solve Ben. They changed their offense. They went more lateral. They tried some wraparounds. They tried some different things to solve them. So they were aware of that. So I think Post needs to find a way to be more creative in their approach in their attack. Like I say, in every team, and it's not just the Eagles. The ability to create something off a rush. Again, play that 2-on-1 game that just did not see a lot of that. That's going to be a difference maker. That's at every level. So if there's something to improve upon, I think certainly that's it, because there's a boatload of skill and ability in that room.
So that's the story this afternoon here on a Tuesday in Connecticut as the Eagles fall to 3-8-1 on the season. Again, lots of games. They have 9 more games in this 25-day span of 10 and 25. So conference play is going to come right around the corner. A week from today, Eagles will be at Westfield State on Friday. They'll be home for Worcester State, 8 p.m. here on Saturday night. Coach, any final thoughts before we close out our day?
No, I think the fact that Post is playing a lot of games in a short amount of time, I always like that because, you get to a point where, yes, practice is important, but practice becomes, unless you're changing something up significantly, practice becomes just more refinement, and the guys just want to play. And especially as you get towards the last part of your senior year here with those guys and your juniors, would-be seniors, you want to play the game. So I think those 10 games in those 15 days, I think could help them they can find a rhythm and start to somehow get over that 2-goal-a-game scoring average.
We hope to see you out here Saturday night. For Coach Pete Whitney, I'm Jeff Nelson. Final score. Tough one for the Eagles. Albertus Magnus 3, the Eagles 2. Eagles fall to 3, 8-1. We'll be here 7:40 on Saturday night if you can't be here with us live. Otherwise, puck drop 8 o'clock for senior night against Worcester State. We thank you for joining us. Drive home safely. Have a nice night. And we'll see you on the other side on the Post University Sports Network.